Mic check, mic one. Mic check, mic two. Mic check both mics. No echo. Echo, echo. Give me a beautiful mic check, Brian.
Check, check, check. Checking the mic.
We're back.
I made it.
You made it. Brian survived. It's actually been a little bit since we've done a stream with both of us. And we have a
I
lot to
mean,
update.
we are here.
I have to turn off my headset so that people don't hear me talking in echo. So you want to start or you want me to start?
Sure, I'll start. I am here in my basement at my couch in my bunker of my undisclosed location. Because last Friday I had ACL surgery. Of course, that's why we didn't have any stream Friday, and then Monday, just the post-surgery stuff. So here we are, making it work.
Making it work. Making it work. I'm going to change the view so everybody can see Brian here. There we go. So Brian decided that he wanted to be 18 years old and play hockey and get checked by somebody and ripped up his leg, and now he's getting built back like a cyborg. Apparently his leg's going to be stronger than normal humans after
That's
this.
what they say. It should be better than it was originally.
He's got like a zombie. What did they do? They put a new ACL, like somebody else's muscle in place of yours?
It's a donor hamstring. So I take part of the hamstring of somebody who died and give it to me.
So do you know
So
who
thank
it
you,
was?
whoever did that.
Like, do you know who they don't tell you who it was? They just kind of...
No, they don't tell you.
So you're going to die
think,
someday and somebody's like, hey, you've got part of my leg.
I could actually write a letter to whoever it is and thank them for it, and they'll send it to them. So I think I'm going to do that.
But aren't they dead? Like, what's the point of...
Well, to their family.
Oh, okay. I
So,
would do that.
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't actually have a donor card. I should probably do something about that. I guess I got the type of blood that can give to everybody, but can only take one. Can only take one type.
Yeah.
Forget what that is. But
Like O negative or something.
yeah, I got an update too. My daughter's in her bedroom. Doesn't have a closet,
Hey,
but
it's usable.
it's usable. She's got her bed in there and stuff. I put the desk in there, so I'm finally getting our dining room back. And I bought a really nice mount for our 85-inch 8K TV, so that's all mounted now. Got to get the cabinets built, but for the most part, all my
Most of the
kids,
construction's done.
they all have their own bedroom. Now the construction's not done. I got to do the siding in the back. I got to do the garage. I got to do the 2 bedrooms upstairs because there's still crap going on in the ceiling up there. But no, it's getting better, sort of.
It's progressing.
It's progressing.
That's a major accomplishment, getting that bedroom done.
Yeah, and no mice. So that's another big thing too. As far as the channel goes, we've been trying to figure out for people what to talk about because YouTube's in this weird space where the only things that get attention are things that are dramatic, controversial, sensational, like kind of our thumbnails. What is he talking about? And I don't know. And if you've got opinions on the matter, please comment below and help us figure out what we're supposed to talk about. Because
Right.
I
But
know
on
that.
On that
go ahead.
note, a lot of the controversial stuff that you do talk about does affect the macroeconomics of businesses, which affects their stock price and ultimately your portfolio. So it does matter.
And that's the hard part about it, because if you try to talk about this stuff, then you can get flagged one way or the other very quickly and very easily, or you can get into bad graces of some company who actually is public and they tell you, hey, you can't talk about us that way. It's like, well, you're a public company, so yeah, actually
Right.
we can.
Yeah.
So,
This is an opinion. It's facts. You did a thing, it made your stock price go down, it lost us money,
yeah. And so we're kind of figuring this out. How do you explain this stuff in a way that doesn't get you flagged for the algorithm's sake? And then how do you also cover this as neutrally as possible? And that's kind of where the thumbnail came into play. It's like, well, a lot of this stuff is sponsored by the same elite group of people that kind of control both parties anyways, because they're going to sponsor both sections of the candidates they pick, and if they've got enough money to sponsor both sides of the aisle, so you might as well just assume that if you're not part of that group, it's like a big giant party and you ain't in it. So it's all
Yeah, and
going
it
to the
seems
same
like they
place
want
anyway.
red and blue fighting. They just want a constant back and forth between the two to keep them fighting each other.
Yep, and that's where the thumbnail came in. As far as like what we normally do on the channel, we normally take a stock pick per month, and we started this was about 44 months ago as of this month. We haven't picked a stock yet for this month, but we've been doing this now for 3.5 years, and we started at zero. So this $115,000 that you see on the screen was nothing 3.5 years ago. Yes, I know the thumbnail says $79,000. Why am I posting that? Well, there's some things going on economically that we're going to talk about, and that'll explain it a little bit better about what it is that why we post such a low number in the thumbnail and why the portfolio is so much higher than that. And that'll explain it. But this is my way of, in short, of making sure that our positions that we tell you that we have and how much money that we say that the portfolio is worth is actually true in the event of a downturn. And there's quite a bit of things going on that have been going on for 10 plus years that are going to cause a blip, maybe not the way that people would expect to see, like a giant crash and everybody's panicking in the streets. And this is going to be kind of more like I've said before, a whoopee cushion getting deflated. So right now it's at 115,000. It's at 233% over the last 2 years. This is based on originally a $400 a month investment. So this was taken from the U.S. Census, and we looked at the average disposable income that was left over for just the person in the middle, not including the rich people, but the person right in the middle, the median, not the mean. And this is what they had. So they had about $400 left over every month. Found out that nobody on social media cares about a portfolio that has $400,000, so I dumped another 20 into it originally just to show them that, like, hey, look, we're legit. Both Brian and I have done very well personally, and the reason why we do this is because there are a lot of finance channels, and a lot of those finance channels are basically full of crap. They will tell you that, hey, you can get rich reading this book or during the seminar, see this fake house and this rented car and this, I don't know, can you rent a spouse or a wife or something? But like they show you all this stuff that's not actually true so that they can get you in their little educational seminar circles and get rich off of your money, teaching you how to make money. So what we decided to do was let's start a portfolio from zero and actually show people how this works long term. And the hard part about it is when I say the word long term, we're on social media.
I want it now. Give it to me now.
If you ever go to the gym and you're looking at the other people in the gym, they're on their phone, they're just every 3 seconds.
I gave you 3 seconds. What more do you want? Swipe.
And that's where, when we started the channel, we thought, okay, well, if we're doing this and we're going to try to make this a thing, it's going to take like 7 years. So we're halfway through that, and we are getting some growth. So thank you for those of you that are watching and kind of tuned in early.
Thank you to those on Rumble. We're up to 89.
Are we really?
Followers now. Yeah, we just got a new one. So thank you so much. I think we're on that road to 100 is our first goal here. So thank you for helping us reach that. And then we're steady and growing on YouTube again.
Finally.
Yep.
We made a mistake early thinking that like advertising would help us. Well, when you suck,
don't advertise, people.
Yeah, when you suck talking, it doesn't help. It makes it worse. So that didn't help us, but we're, like Brian said, we're on the upward trajectory. So this portfolio is going to take another 3 years to finally show people, and all of the doubters and all the people that say, oh, well, that's not true, you can't do that. It's like, no, you really can do that.
And you can do it safely. You don't have to do options or put calls. You don't have to play as a casino. You can do this safely and just watch it grow. And the longer you watch it, the more it grows.
Kind of like watching paint dry. It's exciting.
It is. Well, by watching, I mean like checking it once a month or once a quarter.
Actually, before we started the stream, I logged into the account. I hadn't seen it in a few weeks. Like, wait a minute, it jumped a couple grand. What was it? What did that? So I didn't know what it
Yeah, it
was.
did.
But the thing that we look for. So yeah, the number looks good, right? You got the $115,000. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, we don't care so much about this. When we're posting the $79,000, we're posting that as I'm going to give a business a loan. They need to pay me back for that loan, and they need to do so with profits from the sale of a service or a product. I don't want it to be equity. I don't want it to be some company that says, "Hey, we got this special acquisition thing we're doing, or we got this maybe this potential resource out in Canada, where like there's a potential oil field or something, and we haven't drilled anything yet, but it's exploratory and it could make a lot of like nothing like that." We don't want people selling like a whole bunch of stores to get equity to pay back investors. We don't want that thing. What we're looking for is profit from a product or a service, and we're going to put that here into the investment income. So this is really what this portfolio is about right here. And we've got this 300 and, well, it's almost $313 a month in passive income. Probably next stream where you catch me, this will be up a little bit more. But we've got right now, every month we're getting about $313 every month, rain or shine, whether we make any money or not.
Keep that in perspective, because when we're just putting in $400 a month for the median income, now we would be putting in $712, $712,
And
right?
93 cents.
For that same $400 investment.
And that's where I want people to see this part of it. Year 3.5, we did a dividend snowball. Maybe we should redo that one because that video wasn't that great. But when you look at this stuff over the course of 10 years, you think about this over 10, 15, 20 years, this is what happens as the investments start compounding upon their own investments. You start making a lot of money. And this number sounds great, but this is what we rely on. And if you look at the positions that we have, we got, I guess ADP is paying us next. So when you look at what we have, and we'll get into some of the stuff going on in the world in just a minute, you'll notice that a lot of these positions here are not exactly risky companies. There's a couple, like Rio is probably one that's cyclical. I would say that one is not necessarily, it's a little bit more volatile than the rest. And then there's another one in here, Rumble. We like Rumble. Mm-hmm. That one is probably also risky, simply just because they're not making a lot of money yet.
Yeah, down to 612 again, so it might be time to buy it again.
Right. But everything else in here, I mean, you got a utility company, you got UPS, you've got a United Health, you got Chevron, which we're going to talk about them in a minute. Hershey's.
Got Exxon.
ExxonMobil. We've got a lot of very well-known and established businesses. And if you look at the dividends on the portfolio, you'll notice that most of these all pay dividends. The only two that do not are Intel and Rumble. And we bought Intel when they were tanking real bad, and we kind of make that play. So
yeah. Now keep in mind that Intel historically has paid a dividend. They just cut it when we're buying it because, I mean, they're tanking. They couldn't afford to pay that dividend again. But they're building back, and they're doing actually pretty good. I mean, look at their stock going up. They're making some moves to build that back. So we expect that dividend to come back.
I'm expecting you to say, well, they're building it back better.
Building back better. No, I won't say that.
They're building it back better.
Stupid slogan.
Ouch. Usually when we see these stocks, for example, 3M, these are the ones that, no offense to 3M, they've done very well for us, that if we were looking to cash out or try to do anything, we would want to sell these stocks because if a company goes up 100% in valuation, so like if it goes from $10 to $20, the income of that business or the underlying company itself needs to justify that price increase or the market cap increase. One such company that has not done that, you hear me beat that horse on this one, is NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA is a good company. I think that right now the market has them overvalued, so I wouldn't be buying them right now for the same reasons why I would be skeptical about buying 3M. We only have one share in Comerica. We sold them when they were like up 40% or something like that because they were struggling. The reason why they went way past that since then uh, is because I guess Fifth Third bought them out. So
Yeah,
we
did not anticipate the Fifth Third buyout.
nope. But they were also up pretty high. The other one that we did a while ago was Honda. And we were right about that one. The tariffs were affecting them. So we decided that, hey, if Honda's going to be financially at risk, it'd be a good time to, just take some of the, because we pay a foreign market share fee on the shares that we have for Honda. And that's kind of why those are so low. But the rest of them here, we would be looking at potentially selling these. I'm not going to sell Intel yet, not for a while.
No.
And then we would be looking at buying more of these. So the ones that actually look good to us, and this is going to be, people are going to look at this and go, what? Why would you do that? Well, this is kind of how you make money doing dividend growth. Kimberly-Clark, Campbell Soup, Rumble, Devon, Pfizer, and Procter & Gamble are all kind of the ones, well, we could all go probably all the way up to ADP, are all the ones that we're looking at as far as like, these are the ones that look like potential good investments. Now, keep in mind, they all pay a dividend. So just because Campbell Soup, the CTO, because they did something insane, or at least that guy did, doesn't mean that we think the company's a bad business. They make products that people kind of have to have, or at least they should have. And these guys already pay a pretty healthy dividend. So we're going to be looking at the ones on the bottom here to see if there's an opportunity somewhere for us to jump in where the cost of the business is a good value relative to what the company actually outputs. And I think that some of these, especially Kimberly-Clark, because they bought Kenvue, I think it was. And Kenvue used to be part of Johnson & Johnson. So we'll be looking at these as a good low-cost income generating opportunity. And when that happens, to like if we find one here, let's say Kimberly-Clark looks really good in 3-4 months, you're going to see this jump up to the same levels that all of these do. Now, we said the same thing with AT&T. I'm still waiting for an opportunity to jump back into AT&T because they're relatively lightweight in our portfolio. So,
yep. And when they say buy low, sell high, this is what they mean. This is the growth mentality behind that phrase.
If I sell.
Right.
Now, I got a bone to pick with my tax. I had to pay a quarterly. It was like $42,000 or something like that, and I didn't have the cash on hand, so I had to sell some of my Intel stock personally to pay it. And come to find out that I overpaid some of the taxes. I get that back. It's like, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that, because you pay capital gains on stuff. But that's a different annoyed Tom.
Gave you the wrong number.
That's an annoyed Tom for another day topic. So I think. You want to cover the news first? You want to go through some of these businesses first? There's not a lot of people tuning in right now.
We can do both.
Probably.
No, we can go through the businesses.
All right. So first thing on the list then is going to be Campbell's Soup. I want to see something with these guys. We know plenty about them. We did a couple videos on these guys and a couple streams, so we know what's going on with them. I'm most interested in their latest quarterly. Now, Market Edge says avoid. Market Edge is a very technical indicator. That, to me, is a good sign because they disagree with me. No, it's not that they disagree with it. It's because their technical indications usually tell you where the options and day traders are going with the stock. Okay, so Q1 2025, that is ends 11/2. So now they're on quarter 2. They have a weird fiscal quarter timestamp. But if we look at kind of the trends for their assets, we're going to do this real quick because we already own them. We already know what's going on with them. We see that they're decreasing actually quite a bit. And then we'll look at this annually as well. So we got total liabilities. And they're dropping, not as much. Equity, are they issuing shares? Not really. That's all been the same for the past 5 billion years. Okay, so then we come into the income statements, and for the new person, welcome. Scroll back, you'll kind of get an idea of what it is that we're talking about here. Operating income, we go into here, look at this. Well, you can see the hit. It's kind of like when Budweiser had their problem.
Right.
Anheuser-Busch. Sorry. Cash flow, check this out. So for the one that is not, the CTO did not really damage these guys much. At least not
Not too
yet.
much.
All right, look at them annually real quick, and then we'll go back to the chart and see what it is that we can see. So cash from investing, cash from operations, there is not a whole lot to see here. That's
I think Campbell's did a very good PR job on rolling back what the vice president of information technology said. It
better
was
than
all about the
McDonald's.
bioengineered meat. So I think they did a very good job at, I guess, lulling people's concerns.
Did you see what McDonald's said when they did that study where they put like a hamburger in there and said, "Oh, this thing doesn't rot." And the marketing team comes back, "Our food rots. It does too." Like what?
It's like any other meat.
Really? You're gonna say that? That's a
Well,
great marketing strategy. I mean, in their
force them to
defense,
say something negative about their food.
I did remember it. So, I'm not seeing a lot of red flags with these guys. There was one kind of in November when this came out where they just took a beating, but I'm not seeing anything here that looks like it's maybe I missed this. I'll have to take a look at their earnings report and see if there's something else going on with them. But yeah, we knew about this. We knew about the restructuring. There's not a lot of oh no's here. You want me to look at anything else? Or are you good here?
Well, I think the biggest thing for them was the Kenvue thing. I think that affected them more than the vice president statements.
That's a high payout. Can they afford it? Maybe.
Barely.
What if you had a house payment and you're like trying to convince your wife that, you know, that's a really nice house, honey. We should get it. She's like, well, can you afford it? Maybe.
Yeah, but it's going to cost us 80% of our income for the month, every month.
We might be able to make a payment. Let's go right now.
We could buy it, but we can't furnish it. We might be able to eat.
That's the problem with these guys here. So I think I still like them though. I still think maybe that might be a good one here. The other one was, as you mentioned, Kenvue was Kimberly Clark. These guys are the guys that bought Kenvue. So we're gonna go from
Oh, Kimberly Clark. That's right.
we're gonna go from canned soup, yeah, to toilet paper, and then I'm gonna
Another staple company.
super exciting. Like up next, we're going to buy Toto bidets in the heated ones. By the way, I need to get you a mixing valve so that like you got the super. It just feels so nice, Brian. You just got to get that nice, clean bum feeling. But that's
Well, my
these
daughter
guys
got me one.
doesn't heat up though, does it?
It doesn't heat up now.
It's like blasting yourself in Michigan, Lake Michigan,
It's
in the middle of
it's nice
January.
and chilly and refreshing. It
I'm
wakes up
sure
my
it is.
bum.
Somebody, some guy comes to drop off a mail parcel at your house or Amazon delivery guy, and all of a sudden he hears, "Oh, me nuts!" out of the house. What is going on in there?
But I turn Irish all of a sudden.
I would not unheated water. Cold, man. It's cold in the winter. It's like 40 degrees. It comes out of the tap. I can't do that.
You get used to it.
Kimberly Clark is going to take, so this is how do I explain this in a non-nerdy way to be exciting and fascinating while we talk about toilet paper companies and big corporations buying and selling each other. Take it away, Brian.
These are the companies that you buy for when the shit hits the fan, literally and figuratively. So when that happens and the economy drops, these generally are the companies that go up. So it insulates you from further damage. But I mean, as far as what the company, they're not on the cutting edge of toilet paper. You know, it's just,
You
it's
don't want
not
them to be on the
exciting as far
cutting
as the
edge of
products that
toilet
they,
paper.
yeah,
That's
it's,
that's
you
not an
know,
edge you want to. No, no cutting that
we got
edge.
a new 3-ply. It's softer now. I mean, what can you say?
AI
I mean,
toilet
they do make
paper.
more products than just toilet paper, but I mean, none of them are very exciting. But it's stuff that everybody needs. So when the apocalypse hits or whatever, when the riots start and you need something, you're going to go to the store and buy all this stuff.
I would like to see an advertising campaign from Kimberly Clark that says we now use AI. And our like the commercial for Charmin just changes and there's a robot there instead of the little cuddly bear or whatever that is. And they yeah, so they could totally capitalize on that. But I'm not. So here's the problem with what I'm seeing right here. Their total debt is down, but when they get so Johnson and Johnson, they bought Ken, or I'm sorry, they sold Kenvue. They saddled them with some of their debt. Kenvue was struggling for I think it lasted like 2 3 years. They struggling for a bit, and Kimberly Clark said, "Hey, market cap is down, opportunity." When they decided that it was time to buy them, they're going to take some of that debt, and they're going to be less valuable as a book value, not as a business. As a business, they're growing, but when you're looking at their market cap and the value, that's going to go down a little bit, and that's what you're going to see here. So, yeah, I don't know. Total see the total assets should go up, but I think the liabilities are they're gonna spike a little bit here. They've done a pretty good job keeping this all consistent. Like this is nothing surprising, nothing scary, and that's exactly what you want to see out of a business like this. Let me come back into here and go to cash flow statements. Take a look at these guys real quick.
They've been selling
They
or buying
have been.
something.
Well, Kenvue.
Yeah.
These quarterly? Did I do quarterly? I did do
It's,
quarterly. All right,
you
let's
did
look at
do
annual.
quarterly.
That's a not a good number.
666 billion.
As long as it doesn't continue that number all the way.
Now, this is in millions? I
I
think.
think so, yeah. This, yep.
Yeah, millions.
I don't
So that's
see
666 million.
any red flags here. I think they can take it. Now, if we were to take, let's see, Kenvue. Product liability litigation. They owe 6.16 billion. Kenvue operating income. Yeah, I think they have some income. I don't think it's that exciting though. Hey, go back to AI. I want to hear what AI thinks because AI is always right and it's going to take over the world. That's such a small margin. They've got $6.1 billion and they only made $400 million. That's really interesting, I think. Going back to this, I'm not seeing a lot of red flags. So I think what we are going for here in our portfolio, and for all the people checking, this is where we're at. Go back, scroll back, we explain it. We're up to 115. Yes, I know the thumbnail says 79,000, 233% over the course of 2 years. And then we got in the positions here. We'll show you all this. This is kind of what we're doing right now is we're going through looking at the ones that are doing the worst for an opportunity to buy. And then we go to the investment income. This is what we're making per month outside of that growth. So we're making this whether or not the stocks go up or down. So we're just trying to add to that. And then what we have to talk about next is the world events. Things that
There's a lot of things going on.
there's a lot. the world events that are happening right now that affect these businesses. So as far as like Kenvue goes, I need to check one last thing. Let's check and then we can go on to the fun stuff. Yeah, yeah, this is why when Johnson Johnson spun them off, this is why I wasn't really interested. I actually sold my shares and just put them right back into Johnson and Johnson. Same thing when AT&T did their Warner Brothers spinoff. I just sold Warner Brothers right away. To answer the question, oh hey Matt, welcome. He says, I finally caught a live stream again. I hope you guys are doing great. Brian is not. He's in a cast.
I'm not in a cast. I got a leg brace that keeps my legs straight because of the ACL surgery. And then the physical therapy is fun when you could like, and that hurts and it's like hard to do.
Can you do that again? What is that? Not quite the old man grunt, but getting close.
No.
We're just kind of waiting for people to jump in, taking a look at the stocks and portfolio and seeing what might be a good investment opportunity before we get controversial and get me like banned on the internet forever. But we jumped in. In fact, I hadn't even looked at this portfolio all month. I've been in my other portfolio looking at stuff, and we saw that it went up to 115,000. So I'm not actually sure what caused the $5,000 jump. It went up. Something went up. I think they all went up, but
I think a lot of them went up.
because 3M was not our top one.
No, and Intel jumped.
Intel wasn't either. So I think, yeah, his surgery, it went well, right?
Yeah. Surgery went well. Everything went fine. They fixed the ACL, no arthritis in the knee. So I just got to go through 9 months of physical therapy in order to get back to skating. But right now it's a week out. So it's, it's hard to tell. I'm able to bend it a little bit more each day. So that's good. Hopefully in the next 3 weeks, I'll be able to drive again.
I'm going to get a phone call from Brian one day and he's going to be like, look, Tom, I'm touching my toes.
I can do that now. Come on. I'm flexible enough.
Before the surgery, he could do it just by like bending his leg the other way. Look, I can touch my nose with my toes like a baby. What do I think of an
I probably could.
So we got what do we think of Annaly Capital? I love and hate this stock. Annaly is an REIT. They have in the past year, just so you guys can see this.
Thank you.
That's the whole. That's the whole thing. I don't want the whole thing. I want just a year. Let's not do the max one. Look at what they've done in the past, not year to date. It's got to be 1 year. So if you bought them back in April, they were $17 a share, and now, boom, they're up to $24. That sounds great. Here's the problem with that. I own Annaly Capital personally. Whenever I talk about a stock that I own personally, assume that it's somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 worth of original capital investment. That's kind of where I sit. The thing I don't like about these guys is it's an REIT, just like an ETF. When you buy a stock like that, you pay ordinary income taxes on it. Now, if you have a stock that is like a qualified dividend, let me show you this qualified dividend tax rate, 92K free. Let's just see if AI can, the capital E. All right. So if you get an REIT like Annaly Capital and they're paying you taxes, or you're paying taxes on that income, if you are married filing jointly and you're getting qualified dividends on not Annaly Capital, but like Campbell Soup or something or whatever, an ETF or a stock like Annaly Capital, you're going to pay your ordinary income. So if you're taxed at 25%, you're going to pay 25% of that at the end of the year, whatever they pay you. If you're paying something like getting a qualified dividend from AT&T and you're married filing jointly, you can get $96,000 of, now this is AI, so take it with a grain of salt. But I know it was 92,000 last year. You can get $92,000 of qualified dividends and pay zero taxes. No taxes. So if you're thinking that, well, I'm going to get $100 from Annaly Capital and then I'm only going to get $50 from AT&T, take $75 for Annaly Capital because you pay your taxes. Now for me, it's more like 60. I run a small company, which means I'm broke all the time. But it's like I pay a very high tax bracket. So AT&T's qualified dividend income for me is higher than if I buy on an REIT like SCHD or something like that. So I actually make more because I don't pay as many taxes or as much in taxes with qualified dividends as I would in ETF. So that said, to answer your question, what was the question? Something about Annaly, right?
What do you think about Annaly?
Yep, I think it's a stock. No, Annaly Capital. So what I want to show you guys about Annaly Capital is this. Look at this number right here. So I'm going to scroll down to the spreadsheet. We're going to look at the total common shares outstanding. Let me make sure I got the right stock. Yeah, I do. Okay. Come to find out, we're still looking at toilet paper. Now, look at the shares outstanding.
They're diluting, but not as much as they used to, it seems.
Isn't that depressing? It's still almost double.
Right. Is this yearly or?
This is something. This is this is yearly.
Annually.
Okay, check this out. You know what? 2020 almost off the radar. It'll be gone the next time they do their annual report. Gone. So none of the crazy numbers. So
tired of that anomaly being on there.
If you guys know how the Fed works, the Fed is an entity that has to maintain the dollar as a status as a reserve currency. Everybody thinks, oh, they're devaluing my dollars. Like, no, they're making sure that we can still print money. That's an important thing. They've got a dual mandate. This is not a discussion about the Fed or the somewhat entertaining battle going on between the current administration and the Fed. Maybe
who's neither federal nor reserve.
They got a nice building coming, though. It's the best building. It's the biggest building. It's the most beautiful building. Everybody says so, except for Trump. Trump does not say so.
Except they're getting indicted by it because there's some sort of funding of it.
I guess the DOJ is investigating. Like, and Trump says he says he doesn't know anything about it. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know if I buy that, but like, I guess this is multiple billions of dollars of money. But anyways, when the Fed prints money, it's a hidden tax, so they devalue your currency. When a stock issues shares, that's not a buyback. When they dilute their business, it devalues the money that you put in your net asset value, your NAV, goes down because there's more shares out there and the company is basically worth the same amount of money. So IEP got in trouble for this. I saw on Motley Fool and Seeking Alpha, which we have a discount on if you guys go check the link. There's something there for you. But anyways, Seeking Alpha, not the other one.
Not Motley Fool.
But basically, when they go from 350 million shares outstanding to 578 million shares outstanding, the value of your investment is worth that percentage less. So if it was 50% less, you'd have 700 million shares less. I'm not going to get into too much math, but basically you lost 30% of your net asset value because they diluted their share. Now, in theory, they should have grown. They should have said, hey, we're going to buy a bunch of businesses. There's interest rates that they're talking about becoming more favorable. They're saying that, hey, maybe the housing market's they're going to be on the rebound soon. This stuff is favorable towards the housing inventory. We've done a lot of videos in the housing market. We can get into that in a little bit, I guess, if you got some questions about that. But basically, it might not be as rosy as they're telling you. I tend to find that anytime you go into social media and people are looking and saying, oh yeah, it's this great opportunity. And what was it? I think it was Graham Stephan and one other lady did a video on YouTuber Finance, and they were showing that, like, if you had listened to these people, your portfolio would be down like 90% or like right. It was a horrible amount. I just
since it's a REIT, I think we'd want to have them use that money to buy more properties and more whatever, their investments as their properties that they buy. So we want them to do that instead of paying down debt or whatever it is they're doing with it.
Take a look at these numbers too. So you watch the net asset value get diluted. Their operating expenses went from 1.27 to 4.8 billion dollars. That's a lot. Their income, you would expect their income to do well after that. It did not. Their net income after taxes was negative for 2 years, and then they finally turned a corner and they're $1 billion. So they're finally, so what's happening with Annaly Capital is I think they're finally getting themselves into a healthier position. They were not healthy for a while, so now they're sort of getting back. So this isn't like, oh my gosh, this is a great growth opportunity. I would say this is maybe they're recovering, because I've had Annaly Capital for like 10 years. Just think about that. 40 grand, 10 years, 10% per year. A lot of money, right? Well, yeah, but if you needed to sell that stock at any point in time, you in trouble. So this is a company that if you're going to buy them, you better not sell them ever.
Yeah, hold. You buy them for the dividends. You buy them for the 10 or 14% that they pay, that they have to pay.
And pray to God that they don't go bankrupt.
Right.
Or do an Intel or an AT&T. AT&T had the same problem where they were paying like 9% for years and years and years. And you thought, oh, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden, 2. It's like 10, 15, 25, 2. That sucked.
Then they decided to get into movies, and
what was that about? They're a telecom company. Like, why? Well, let's buy Marvel. No, so their net cash.
They're trying to expand, trying to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. There's a delay on you. Oh man, look at this. Can you see this?
That's a lot of debt.
That's a lot of debt. What is this? That's 2024. We knew about that. Let's look at quarterly, just in case, since we're talking about Annaly Capital right now. Total debt issued. Wait, that's a big number. Hang on a minute. Are they in millions? They're in millions. Except for per share data. Oh, okay. So that's not necessarily trillions of dollars of debt. All right. Long-term debt issued. Okay. 15.7. Now, here's the benefit for an REIT. Rates in 2022 were like ridiculous. Anybody who bought a house then, I'm sorry, you're screwed. Because no, like if you look across Florida, Texas, and even in California right now, most of the states are showing a contraction in the housing market. The Fed is starting to lower rates, and watching those meetings is kind of hilarious because they're very divided. People are like, let's cut 6 times. No. We need to raise rates. No. Which is actually a good thing when they're not sure economically, because that's a good sign long term, not like tomorrow. This is like 5 years from now. But with these guys, what we'd have to do is look at the debt that they're being issued now to see if it's a lower rate than before. That could help them. That helped AT&T, so maybe that'll help these guys. Their debt reduction is increased, so that's a good sign. But they're still gaining cash from financing. So they're issuing shares, and they're financing a lot of debt. And that's not necessarily a good thing. The thing you really want to look at is cash from operations and net income. So right now they got some net income. That's good. They got some cash from operations. So if you hold this stock, which we do, and if you are, and I do personally too, I don't think there's a reason to sell them. I would be a little bit cautionary about like the record number of foreclosures that are going through the books right now. And the fact that Trump very adequately called out the problem of not letting investor businesses buy rentals and buy properties. I think that's a big part to play in the housing shortage. So this is me getting political for a minute. I think he hit the nail on the head with that. Like, that is a big problem with the housing market. If you are a young couple in your 20s and you're trying to buy a house, and incomes, well, Annaly Capital is a mortgage-backed security company, but incomes like, Office Realty or something, like they come and they say, I'm going to buy this. They don't buy, they buy commercial stuff, but whatever. You got an REIT that comes in and says, I'm going to buy this house. They've got cash. So you're trying to sell your house for $500,000, and you got this young couple in their 20s, maybe went to the military, maybe just got out of college, maybe he's got a job, barely making over $80,000 a year. They don't have the cash. Maybe they have a 10% down payment. What do you think the seller or the bank is going to be more interested in? The cash offer that's probably at the asking price, or the one that the young family who's 25, 30 years old, or even in this case, I think the average age is like 42 now for first time buyers is crazy. What do you think that they're gonna take that their offer for 10%, maybe a 5 or 10% reduction on what the list price is? No, they're gonna take the REIT and they're gonna run off into the sunset. REIT is gonna come in, call a bunch of contractors. They're gonna put white paint on the walls. They're going to put the cheapest OSB trim out there. They're going to buy the cheapest appliances you can see. They're going to put nice little fancy little trinkets in the house and live, laugh, love and the little heart on the wall and the each in the kitchen and the big letters, and then they're going to sell the house for like a 30-40% gain, which contributes to the problem.
Well,
So
even if it's not a REIT, just think BlackRock.
yeah,
How many properties they bought?
they own like half the planet now, I think. Like it's like Berkshire. They own a lot of stuff. I think Anali is a good. So if this is an income tax bracket question, if you're in a low tax bracket, pretty good. I think the dividend's going to be wild. Be careful of the share dilution. Be careful of the housing market crash. If the Fed does lower rates, and MBS like them will do well. And I think that's the reason why you've seen them go from, what was it, like negative 30% our portfolio because of the asset dilution to plus 15%. Would I sell them? We don't sell very often. I mean,
Selling
we
causes
just,
tax events.
yeah, yeah. I
It
talked
has
to
to
my
be,
tax lady about that.
yeah.
I sold half my Intel shares personally. We didn't in this portfolio, and it was like a $10,000 tax bill. I'm going to complain about that for the next year or two, maybe three. I don't like, I pay taxes, but I don't like paying what I don't have to pay because it's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot, and that money could
You
go
don't like being
towards.
crushed by taxes.
It just floors me when I'm a small company and we're barely over a couple million as a business, and I've got 6 employees and trying to take care of them. We pay for all the medical insurance, we pay for the mileage, we pay for like $450 a month to the HSA, get gym membership, they get remote work days, it's four 10-hour work days, 3 weeks of vacation. It's a really good benefits plan. That's all paid through dividend checks. So that's kind of why the dividend dues exist, is because I have to do this anyways, because that's how I pay for some of the stuff. Because our customers are nonprofits and local government, which they don't have any money. They cannot pay for IT people. So we got a comment. I'm a long holder, been dripping it for about 5 years, thinking about selling. You could be careful of the tax ramifications. If you
I
can
think you
find
answered this already.
yeah, I think if you can find a stock to buy that pays qualified, you might be a little bit better off. So I appreciate your evaluation, like the debt to asset levels, and currently not taxes. He's 47. Welcome to the old man group. We're all right there with you.
Yes, we are. Then Matt wants to what we think about ENR. I think it's Energizer or Enron. No, I think it's Energizer.
Enron. Sounds good. Like a good investment. Should watch that Jim Carrey movie. What was that movie when he was in that?
I don't know.
Dino, Dick, and Jane. That was it.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
That was the movie where they, at the very end of the movie, I heard of this new company called Enron. Huh. No, the small businesses is tough because you get taxed into oblivion. It's ridiculous. You make just a little bit of money, and oh my God, you get destroyed. So
Yeah, you got to get over that threshold where you can start getting all the tax benefits.
Brian's talking about the cigar threshold, and what he means by that is the one where you're sitting in that closed circle room with all the ExxonMobil executives smoking a cigar, talking about how many billions of dollars you spent on your corporate yacht getaway, the New Year's. Did you see that? There was an article out there that talked about all these billionaires went on their expensive yachts and they all met on an island somewhere for New Year's. I guess they were showing like this carbon output footprint of how much it cost the Earth. It's like the DEA for like watching rich people spend money. How dare they? It's like, wait
It's
a
going to
minute.
take that island 100 years to recover from that one meeting.
It was, I guess, I don't know. I guess it cost hundreds of billions of dollars of gas or something like that.
Well,
Diesel
yeah, all the fuel that it
fuel.
takes just to get all those there, it's astronomical.
So you had some articles that you wanted to talk about before we, because there's a couple things going on in the portfolio outside of just looking at the finances. These are the ones that we're looking at, but we have to consider the macroeconomics long term because if you buy an Ally Capital and you say, I'm going to get this income, and all of a sudden the Fed says, we're going to raise rates, and then mortgage backed securities bottoms out, and then you got the repo market from Wolf Street. He does another chart and it shows the blowout going on. Like, then you got a problem. But like, you have to pay attention to the world events. And this is kind of where the thumbnail came in, where okay, how do we talk about this stuff without like getting flagged and shut down? So we have to consider this though, because these things do affect the stocks. If Coca-Cola does Dylan Mulvaney, something like that, that's going to affect them. So bear with us. We're just looking at these things as it relates to this number right here. This is our passive income. So sure, the numbers in the portfolio look great. This here is what we're really aiming for because in a market downturn now, I'm not talking about World War III, like China invades Taiwan, Russia decides to nuke Germany and Ukraine like they said they were going to this week. That's really good. If you're talking about foreign policy, I mean, Trump should take notes. I mean, that's beautiful. That's exactly the kind of like collaborative and synergistic, I'm using corporate terms here, type of relationship that you would really want out of a country like that. It's so in those events, your stocks aren't going to matter anyways because we're going to have a big problem. But for the most part, we're looking at this in the event of a recession. That's why the thumbnail says $79,000.
Yeah, not life-threatening occurrences. We're talking
Yeah, in
monetary threatening occurrences.
probably the United States is going to be okay. The world reserve currency is still the dollar. It's going to be that way for a long time. Yes, we know about BRICS. We know about all that stuff, but there's other things happening macroeconomically that are going to make that so that's going to take it's a much bigger uphill battle than people think. So we're looking at this number in the event that there's a problem. We're looking at the thumbnail $79,000 as published just in case. The stock market will drop 40% in a very sharp correction in the event of like a depression or a major recession. And we want to publish the numbers that show people that this is what we think it's worth in that event. So
Yep.
here you
And
go.
we're still getting those dividends, unless, of course, a company drops their dividend or lowers it. But for the most part, we are still getting those dividends, even in a 40% drop.
So there's a couple interesting things in the world today. Venezuela, I guess we own them now. Like, and I'm not going to get into the politics of behind like why we had this huge immigration problem and how corrupt the government was and why 10,000 people were leaving the country every single day due to starvation and like horrible things going on in the country and the fact that Maduro was a pretty bad leader. They have a lot of natural resources. That country could be very rich, and the fact that we got him out of there is probably a good thing. There's my political statement, because maybe the people can come back and actually start their life and maybe get a family and maybe actually live normally instead of like a despot. So that should be a good thing. But with that said, there was a pretty big argument with oil companies, and if you look at our last stream, the thumbnail says it all. Bunch of guys. Kind of corrupt, saying that we own this oil. It's not really your country, dude. But they decided that ExxonMobil, they're not worthy. They don't meet the cut. They're not good enough because I guess they're number one. So they're talking about Chevron, which Brian, you did a video on.
Yep.
Was it 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Where Chevron's actually going to stay there and be able to continue to produce their oil. So that's a good thing. I don't, and back to the whole political thing going on there, I don't know how I would feel about like other countries and major corporations deciding what to do with the resources in my own sovereign country. If I was in the government there, that's I don't know if I have an opinion on that. It's like, what do you say? How do you? But in the defense of that, do they have the resources or the people or the lack of corruption or less corruption
Yeah.
to actually go in there and make those changes to make the difference positively for their people? What I would want to
The,
see from the administration is like, here's our plan. This is what we're going to do, and this is how it benefits the people. Showcase that, give it to the opposition leader, have them be transparent with it. But I don't think that's going to happen. But that's just
Probably
me.
not. And unfortunately, our perspective is from a country that is rich, and we do have still a lot of freedoms. We're able to do, I mean, just look at Minnesota and the chaos that's happening there. Like, if this was Venezuela, they would have gone in and shot them all already. That's right.
In Iran, you hear
Yeah,
what's
in
going on over
Iran.
there?
Yeah, so we have a complete perspective on life itself. If we were in Venezuela living there, we'd probably have a completely different viewpoint. But yeah, I feel like China came in and kidnapped Trump, I mean, half the country would be happy, but if they did, and took him to China to, await arraignment on international charges, then, I mean, we'd be in uproar, right? I mean, that'd be war. That wouldn't happen in here. So for a country that is under a dictatorship, that is suppressed, and the people are fed up with it, it's a completely different outlook. I mean, a lot of Venezuelans are happy that that happened, that he was taken out, and that
There's
hopefully they
a
can move forward.
there's a lot of videos out there. Now, you're not going to see this coming out of Iran, but I saw a whole bunch of videos of people like dancing in the streets, and they're not altered. I mean, somebody hits the phone, it drops it, picks it up, and goes, showing like they're really happy that this happened.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to believe the news too, because they could just show this one area where people are dancing in the streets. And then the rest of the city who's like up in arms and ready to go to war with the government or something, You know what I'm saying? They
Could be
can
like
spin
North
that and
Korea,
show it
where they show you
however
that
they
one
want.
store.
Yeah.
We have this one store that sells fruits and veggies, and they might be plastic, but look at the person smiling at the counter where there's no people shopping.
Yeah.
Could be like
and
that.
there's no reason for it. And I was reading articles where they're talking about people who go to hospitals have to bring their own equipment. So like bandages and surgical screws and whatever is needed for their treatment, they have to buy and bring to the hospital for them to use. So
If you
there's a
can
lot
find
of
it.
pain and suffering in Venezuela. So hopefully they could turn it around. And they've got enough oil to where they could be one of the richest countries in the world. I mean, they were what, 12th in the world before Chavez in
Yeah, they were. They were in the top
in economy
15.
with Switzerland.
Yeah.
So they could be that again.
Here's the
And
thing
their
is they've
people
got
could,
most of the oil too. Like they have the
yeah.
most reserves out of everybody.
And that brings us to, today. Like, I think we just made a $500 million purchase of oil. So the first purchase coming out of Venezuela has happened with America.
I'd like to
So
see where
that,
that's going.
Texas.
No, I meant in Venezuela, not here. I know where
Yeah,
it's going here.
what they're talking about is 100 billion of that going back into Venezuela to help the healthcare system so that they have the supplies and have everything they need to, number one, help the people in need, right? So that's part of it. The other part is to help build back the infrastructure
They're
so
going to build
that
it back better too.
build it back better.
They're building a lot of things are getting built back better right now.
No, this is Trump, so they're going to make Venezuela great again.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for him to say something like that. Everybody
So
says
that's what
so.
that's what they say they're going to do with it. And Chevron, in our aspect, is part of that because they're the ones that are still there. Now they just had a meeting with the opposition leader. What's her name? I'll have to look that up.
Here, I look it up.
the Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Venezuela. There we go. Let's see. Maria Corina
Machado?
Machado.
Yeah. Maria Machado?
Ooh, Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, she's the Nobel Peace Prize winner, who she just recently, was it yesterday, brought it with her and said she would share it with Trump. To his face, though.
Oh, can you imagine like NPR and like Huffington Post and Politico and the Drudge Report, all those places like reporting on that? And then
Yeah, they're all...
oh man, I can't believe this is just such a travesty.
He's stealing her Nobel Peace Prize.
He's forcing it out of her.
No, they did actually say stuff about that, like how much a travesty it is and whatever. So she's hoping, because she backed
Good Lord.
the vice president, who's the acting president now, Rodriguez. So hopefully that all works out, but Rodriguez is under the Chavez Maduro regime. So I think she's just trying to keep her job.
Don't kill me. Not dead yet.
Because Trump did
Bring
say,
out your dead.
what the stuff that you've done, what happened to Maduro would be child's play compared to what will happen to you if you don't play ball type thing.
So maybe there is truth to what the NPRs and the left-leaning articles talk about. Maybe there's some.
There's
truth
always some truth to that, but they spin it in a way that makes it outrageous and untruthful. So that's my thing, is we need to bring these left and right-wing people back to the center. Let's get back to rational thought.
I don't think you're going to be able to do that with some of the stuff going on in Minnesota, man. Some of those people are like foaming at the mouth. You can't talk to them.
They're deranged. And I don't think ICE is making anything better by what they're doing. So
I have a solution. Go to Rumble, make a power slap episode, and just line them all up. And
ICE versus protesters.
They show these videos of some of these ICE officers, and they got like no biceps. So the protesters might actually win. So it would be really good to see that. Like just right, let it all out. Just right there, because they do. They line their face. It's a. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with that show, but anyway, anyways.
Power slap. It is crazy. Now, according to the funny thing is, the Florida AG came out and stated, because a lady in Florida did that to an ICE agent. She got out of her car and punched him in the face, and they arrested her. and the AG put it out on X, said, "This isn't Minnesota." Like, he didn't say Minnesota, but he said, "This doesn't work in Florida. We respect our officers of the law. If you do anything, you will get arrested. So don't. This is not what we do here."
That's the thing I don't understand is, like, look, if you want to make a difference, that's not how you do it. Like, that you get involved politically where you join a board. Maybe you get involved in local government. Maybe you get involved at the federal level. Join your Democratic or Republican convention. Like, you have to be involved that way. You don't get involved by, like, punching an officer.
Right. Now, here's the thing. I'm a believer in protesting. Protesting peacefully and legally. It's your God-given American right, to be able to protest your government. But rioting is not okay. When your protest turns into a riot, now you stepped the line that you shouldn't have crossed.
That's where I think a lot of the people are missing out. I guess Trump, this is going into, we'll get into ExxonMobil and Venezuela in a second, but this is kind of where I think it's really fascinating. I've seen some reports on ground.news. So if you notice, some of our articles here are from there. They give you both sides of the aisle. So if you're looking at like a news report, it'll tell you this one is left leaning, this one is center, this one's right. And it'll tell you like where. And by the way, I noticed since Trump was elected, CNN on ground news has moved from the left to the middle a lot more. They're a lot more muted.
ABC News has done that too. They've gone a little bit to the center too.
Oh crap!
It's like they said something nice about Trump. How'd that happen?
Yeah, I think they're figuring out that people are not as stupid. Not all of us are as stupid as they thought. But I guess Iran, he cleared the airspace. I think it was 2 nights ago, around like
Yep.
midnight or 4 a.m. So that's concerning. But the reason why he did it, and you didn't see this, because I guess there's people protesting in L.A. About like let the regime free or whatever. But what they're not, they probably don't know like what's going on over there. Iran's government shut down the internet, like they turned it off. So they didn't want the videos of them massacring their civilians getting public. I guess there's like
Right.
12,000 people I've seen on some reports on ground.news. AI thinks, yeah, here you go. Western media sources, CBS, and other outlets have cited sources suggesting the toll could be between 12,000 and 20,000 people murdered.
And they're going around finding people with like satellite phones and phones that can get around the internet,
Yeah,
and they're rounding them up. If you got one, it's illegal to have at this point.
I can't believe it's like these people in LA are protesting. Like, do you have any idea what you're protesting? The truth is they don't. They don't have a clue. They just
No.
are upset because it's something that Trump did. But like, think about it. Trump is allowing them to protest, even in Minnesota. He's like, hey, I'm going to pull in the military to stop doing what you're doing. But he's not like murdering the civilian. Thank God. But he's
No.
not like doing that. So like, he's stopping genocide, basically.
Yeah.
And I guess I heard another source, it's a Christian source, where they were talking about like they're hunting down and murdering Christians in the like the women, the children. It's just like this, it's awful. So what are we supposed to do as a country? We're just supposed to let them kill thousands of people? Well, Tom, what about Gaza? Yeah, Gaza was terrible too, but there's a lot of misinformation going on both sides of that too. So when you're looking at like why we talk about this stuff with relating to businesses, well, if you take out Iran's ability to produce oil, that's going to make Venezuela really look good. Or, for example, if Taiwan, I'm from the South. No, if
Taiwan.
Taiwan gets invaded by China, all of our chips come out of there, like all of them.
And that's going
TSMC.
to make Intel and AMD look good.
Yeah, and think about the market cap for Nvidia. What's going to
Broadcom,
happen to Nvidia?
Samsung. Yeah.
Amazon. Yeah, these are like this affects, sadly, which makes my job and your job very difficult on how to explain this in a way that doesn't like piss off somebody. Because if I guess if you go online, you're gonna, I could just have my face on the internet. So like that guy is a stupid guy. It's like, have you ever heard him before? No, he just looks dumb. Okay, I guess you're mad at me because I look dumb. Fine, but you have to know, and this is kind of the sad part about investing. This is why we tell people that maybe you should also have a financial advisor, do the 401k thing too. But you have to know how this stuff is going to affect these businesses because, like it or not, there are big corporations that have a lot of money that can sponsor politicians, and they do.
And I would say this is why you need to keep emotions out of your investment portfolio.
No, I like being emotional about everything, as Brian knows. I gotta be controversial about something every day.
And yeah, I do have a rant, Matt, about the left and the right, about, Trump derangement syndrome is an actual thing. It's
Hey,
not like
Elon.
it's not a diagnosed, syndrome really, medically wise, but there are people out there who, like you said, Trump could come out with the cure for cancer that he's just been working on the side, and then the left will come out and say that he stole it, or, he's putting dead
bullied
workers
them.
doctors out of work, or there's something bad about it. So it's not a great thing. And then the right would make him the second coming of Jesus. Would he could cure cancer by just touching. So
Let's give
there
him
needs
a
to be
third
some
term.
rational
No.
center thought on this. You need to be able to not only call out the bad, so even if you're left or right, you should call out the bad, but you also need to call out the good. So that's where I'm at with that. The center needs to be able to do both sides.
No way,
The good
man.
and the
I'm
bad.
gonna be like, I'm gonna be the hard right Christian Bible thumping Jesus guy. I don't know where that came from, why they think the Republicans are Christians, because it's not the same thing. But anyways, you had I'm going to move on because it's getting weird, and that's normal for me. But so we got ExxonMobil. You read this article. So it says ExxonMobil don't use events in Venezuela as a reason to get excited. So in our portfolio, we have stocks, and they're good. They're like lots of stocks, but these are our stocks, and they're mine. So we've got ExxonMobil here. We
We
don't have a
do.
lot in ExxonMobil, $2,000. And then we've got Chevron, that's
Got
3,000
$1,000,
for,
$1,400 more.
yep. So Venezuela. Now here's something that I don't think a lot of people are thinking of. A lot of oil shipments going through the like Egypt and stuff through the strait there. They don't have to go as far with Venezuela. So Zim, a lot of shipping companies might want to look at those in a few months because they're if you're getting your oil out of Venezuela and you're not getting it across like the ocean, your LPH and your LP, like I don't know, whatever your ships are using your fuel on, there's going to be a lot less fuel. So either they're going to be a lot more profitable if the rates are the same, or they're going to undercut them and our price of gas is going to go down way, 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 way too much. Some of that's regulated, obviously, but no, I think what we're trying to do here is we're trying to figure out Chevron and ExxonMobil,
Who benefits?
who benefits the most. And from what you were
Rest ball.
saying, it's not ExxonMobil. Is that right?
So what came out of the meeting between Rodriguez and Trump was allowing U.S. companies to go back in and take over their oil production. So that's going to mean Exxon and Respol and these other ones that were kicked out or didn't want to pay the 60% finder's fee
You're
to
not part
Venezuela
of our circle.
can get back in and start pumping again. I think Chevron is still going to be the clear winner, but Exxon clearly will probably have something to say about that.
Here's
So what this
I'm-
guy's saying is, yeah,
ahead.
they're going to be able to pump oil, but it's not going to be as great as you think. Like the profits aren't going to be as great as you think, and because they're going to use some of that to build Venezuela back. And if you look at Exxon's balance sheet, it doesn't scream, yeah, I am going to be making 10% or 20% more next year.
If I were to think about this macroeconomically based on these articles, we talked about oil margins where it's a lot of regulation behind it, where if their profits based on margin, if a barrel of oil is $100 per barrel and it goes down to 60, well, their 10% margin went from $10 to 6. So they made
Yeah.
less money. I'm wondering if that's going to happen here in lieu of rebuilding Venezuela and maybe cheaper gas prices at the pump. And I think we're going to see some of that. So the guy here in Seeking Help, I don't even know who wrote this one, Vladimir Dimitrov, how do you say, however you say this guy's name, I think he's
Yeah, you
pretty,
said Dimitrov.
Dimitri, he's pretty close because I think a lot of people will jump in based on hype, but don't think about the macroeconomics. And I don't think, I mean, Chevron might do okay. They might get some pretty big contracts here, but I don't think the jump's going to be as big as people think.
Now, the biggest thing with Chevron is they're going to probably get rid of that 60% tax because they had to give 60% stake to Venezuela of their mining or their drilling operations. Whereas now I think that's going to be a lot lower. They're going to get a lot more from that. So since they're already there, I think they're going to have a better look at it. And what he was saying is instead of looking at the companies in Venezuela, look at the companies that are around Venezuela that are already pumping in the different countries around them that have
Like
contracts.
McDonald's.
Yeah, that could easily just swing into Venezuela.
I could
Without-
see McDonald's. I'm just saying.
McDonald's.
Their food doesn't rot, so you put the oil in it and it, anyways.
The oil doesn't rot.
Our food rots. Chevron expected to receive expanded Venezuela license. So this is what you were just talking about. You really did read
Yep.
these articles. Center. Right. Okay, so let's see what the right says.
So that's
Chevron
what I like about
expected.
ground news, because every time I go somewhere, I go to Seeking Alpha and ground news first to get the start of where my trip is going to go on whatever topic I'm on. So I really do like ground news. We need to get them to sponsor us somehow.
What we need to do is we need to start up a domain called Seeking Beta.
There you go.
Business
Yeah.
ideas all over the place. I'm telling you right now, it's going to work. So here's the right article on Chevron expected to receive expanded Venezuela license from United States this week. They're expected to. I can picture some
Yeah.
lobbyist in Washington be like, okay, come on, right. Give me the money. Come on, right.
I'm expecting it. Come
we
on.
sponsored you. You got elected because of us. I could see that. So Chevron expected to secure expanded Venezuela license from U.S. this week. Okay, that's Reuters. What's the title of the left one? That's not even
That's not
exciting.
English.
It's not even English. What is this? Like Chinese? So there's not really. So let's see what the center people say. Wow, this is not very controversial. We'd have to do something kind of like the protests in Minnesota, I think, to see the clear differentiation. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna be exciting. Let's do that. Let's go to ground news. Trump says he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the U.S. controlling Greenland.
Oh, geez.
You know why? You know why they're doing that? Because Greenland's got lithium.
Yeah, they've got some good resources, but it's also a territory that's in a strategic spot between us and Russia.
Are there any
It'd be a
companies
great
that are
jumping off
near
point.
Greenland? I don't think we have outside of oil. I don't think there's a lot of interest there right now.
For Greenland? No.
Denmark wants them. They're a territory of Denmark, I guess.
Yeah. And the European Union is sending troops there in case we invade.
Matt wants us to name it Sea King Alpha.
Speaking.
I like that.
There we go.
There won't be any problems with that name. Nobody will notice. It'll just be C. It's different. It's different. See, it doesn't say the same thing. It's just kind of like, Trump taking credit for the Nobel Peace Prize. It was all me. I think for the portfolio for these guys, Chevron is only up 12%. And they're supposed to get 500 million, but when you look at the market cap of these guys, I mean, you're not talking. So $500 million. Their market cap is 334 billion. Their enterprise value is actually more than that. That's actually a good sign. That's a good number. So $374 billion. So $500 million is kind of like you going to the store and buying a pencil. It's not worth that much. I mean, it's a good thing. I wonder what that would do for future revenue. So, like, before we buy something for this month, I would be curious to know. Oops, go back down. I'd be curious to know what this will do for them long term, because you're not seeing that. You're just seeing a lot of excitement and hype right now, and you're not really being able to back that up with, okay, what does this actually mean? You can do a lot of talking, but how do we know
Yeah.
the $500 million is that the only thing, or is there going to be more to it than that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to look at the numbers. You have to do the stupid math.
Look at their debt reduction. See,
Wow.
and here I thought that, this month is going to be ADP and Procter and Gamble, because I come to Brian, I don't know, every few weeks, like, it's going to be these stocks. Like, I think it's going to be those. And then we get into the news articles with Iran, and this is awful, by the way. That's awful. We
That
get
is
into
terrible.
the news articles with what's going on in Venezuela, and we look at what's actually happening, and it ends up not being those companies. That's
I'd
why
like
you
to bring
look.
a different viewpoint.
Yeah, and Brian does. He likes to lean hard left. He actually has a mohawk and pink hair underneath that hat. Of what hair is left, he said, "Yeah, see." Hey, wait a minute. That's not pink.
No, it's not. I still got some hair left. It's slowly receding.
I think between the two, I'm starting to lean towards Chevron.
Yeah, between Exxon and Chevron, I'd pick Chevron in this battle.
But would you pick it over ADP, which you've got tax season coming up? They tend to jump just before that, and they drop in the
Right.
winter. Or Procter and Gamble, because everybody likes to shave. Most people.
I'd
I
pick
don't
it
know,
over
maybe not.
ADP. I don't know about Procter and Gamble though.
That just sounds wrong. That name sounds like you're bending over.
Procter and Gamble.
Yeah, it sounds like some nurse lady
Proctologist.
grabbing a rubber glove and going,
Bend over.
We have some products for you. Come here, little man.
This will
No,
only be
God,
slightly
no.
uncomfortable. Don't clench up now. No clenching.
Make sure you squeeze properly.
Just try to relax.
yeah, not a fan of the medical industry for that reason. Because they just don't care. Like, these people see some crazy stuff, and you walk in there and you're like, I'm going to be fine. And then you walk out and you're walking like a penguin. Not good.
My
What
wife
else?
watches this doctor on, I don't know if it's X or Facebook or something, but she always talks about things that they find in people's rectums.
I,
It happens more than you think.
I had a CT
Things that
scan.
shouldn't be there.
Was it 3 weeks ago? I had a CT scan to check, make sure I'm okay, and I'm all okay, just so everybody knows. And I walked through, and maybe I'll have to post a picture of it in one of our videos. There was a picture, because everybody knows I rebuilt my rooms and did all this stuff myself, and there's like 5 billion inches of closed cell spray foam above my head. You can basically heat my house with a single candle or a fart, because my farts are more profound than a candle.
Should
can
you
be
light that
sometimes.
fire on fire?
Yes, should you let that? A lot of methane problems here. But like in the hospital room, there was a poster on the wall, and it said, "Foam is not for these areas." And it's like shows somebody opening their mouth and spraying the foam in their mouth, and they show it sticking it up their rear and spraying it up there. It's like, who would do that? Why? And the nurse just looks at me like I'm fixated on this poster. It's like, have you actually seen? She goes, yes. Yes, we have.
That's why we have the photo and the picture, because it happens more than you think.
It's like, do not fold the stroller with the baby inside. Are you kidding me, people? Why are you doing this? Who would do that? Like, who thinks that's good? Oh, this is a chemical reaction that could kill you. I think I'll stick it up my rear. And then I'm going to go vote in the next election.
And it's sticky. It doesn't come out.
Buy me that ETF with no profit. I'll make $1 million on Bitcoin today. Yeah, I don't. I'm
So
sorry.
Greenland.
I could not believe what I was reading. It's like these people see some crazy stuff. So we just saw the Ground News article. Trump may say he's punishing countries with tariffs so they don't back the U.S. controlling Greenland. That affects Honda stock because Honda is Japan, I
Yep.
think. Or Japan,
I don't
right?
back the U.S. controlling Greenland.
I don't know what I think about that. It depends on how it affects the people, I guess. Am I still stuck drinking broth? I got off medication, which the doctor said I have incredible pain tolerance, and I just told him, yeah, I run an IT company and I do social media, so my pain threshold is like insanely high. Glutton for punishment, I guess. So I'm not taking omeprazole or whatever the other stuff is anymore, and I kind of cold turkeyed it, which that sucked. But now that I've gotten through that, I'm able to pay attention to it, so I can eat whatever I want until I feel something, and then I have to like back off, and then I take broth at that point. But the one thing I actually did like out of this, I used to weigh about 184 pounds, and I'm down to like 170. I'm still going to the gym, so like, man, I look good. I should almost kill myself more often. No, don't
think
do
I
that.
weigh
It's
more
not
than you
good.
now.
It's not good. It's very painful. But yeah, thank you for asking. No, I'm doing a lot better now. I'm actually able to hopefully talk coherently now, but maybe I just need more coffee, talk faster. You can always tell how many cups of coffee Tom has had by how high and squeaky his voice has gotten.
that and how many words he uses, because he generally uses about 5,000 words to explain something. But if he's suddenly using 7 to 10,000 words, then you know he's got coffee in him because he can't stop. His brain just keeps running and running and running, and it just keeps coming out of his mouth, and the words just keep coming. He just can't stop himself, even though he has something in his brain that says, "Dude, you've been talking for a long time. You really should stop. You shouldn't say anything more." But then things come up and he wants to talk about that. And that's why when he's talking, he talks about like the Greenland thing, but then he goes to Venezuela, but then he goes to something stuck up your butt and goes around. But he always brings it right back to Greenland at some point. But he needs to use at least 10 or 15,000 words in order to get there. And you get my point.
So there's a cartoon, Luca, if you ever watch it, the crazy uncle that comes from down below. He talks about eating. And then he's like, and then the carcass just comes in your mouth. You can't stop it. It just keeps coming. And it's like that, right?
Sure.
You probably don't watch kids' movies anymore. Your kids are old. You're old.
Yeah, I don't. I watch like Japanimation anime stuff, but
And My Little Pony. You know you do.
I used to. I used to watch it with my daughter all the time, My Little Pony, but I haven't kept up with it the last couple of years.
That stupid song is stuck in my head. I can't get it out of my head. That and Happy, that was this morning. My earworm this morning was Happy, and clap your hands. I won't do it to everybody, but I couldn't stop it. So
yeah.
Anyway,
so Greenland is one area where I diverge from Trump.
You don't agree?
I don't agree that we should be taking over sovereign countries.
What about bombing Iran?
My question to the rest of the world is, why aren't you? Why are you? You are right there next to them. Why are you allowing this to happen?
Well, look at Ukraine. I mean, why are we the ones supplying all of that? Like, why? Like, Russia just threatened to bomb London and Germany.
We're not the only ones with a established military. Sure, we're one of the biggest and most technical and best well-trained, but it shouldn't lay on the U.S. to have to police the rest of the world, right? I mean, sure, we could be there as a force of power to keep countries in line and dictators who want to rise up and, maybe take over the rest of the world. But when it comes to something like the unrest in Iran, when they're killing thousands of people,
that's horrible.
The rest of the countries around them should be saying, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Stop it.
You would think, but they don't have the military we do. They don't have the reach, unfortunately. Maybe
Israel
they should. Check this. This is a good thumbnail. I'm going to figure out how to put this in a thumbnail. That photo right there, look at that. That's beautiful. I could put like little logos of companies on each side, and then we could have like Trump saying something. I'm going to use that. We're going to use that. What do you think of that?
This side is good. This side is bad.
Maybe I'll put like Biden, Kamala Harris on each side. That'll be not controversial at all, because that's what the algorithm loves.
They know.
Non-controversy. So what I'm doing is I'm looking
Isn't
at
that how we got Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it is kind of actually. That is how we got them. So Trump floats new tariffs and push to acquire Greenland. I don't think, as far as stocks go, I don't think that's going to affect.
That's not going to affect anything.
No, but what I'd be curious to know is like all these closed door meetings behind the scenes, like which congressmen and politicians are getting met by with which companies. Like, is HP and Dell in there because they're like, hey, we're running out of batteries. Get Greenland.
Right.
Is that really what's going on?
Of course, they're trying to get away from lithium, so.
Something else I read, Tucker Carlson, because he got kicked off the mainstream media, he posted something. I didn't watch it, but I got the email notification where it said that Ted Cruz behind the scenes is silencing opposing voices. Like, that's kind of interesting. Did I click on that? Should I click on that? This guy's kind of edgy. I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm so tempted. I need to get that draw into our channel to figure out how to like pull people in that way, because I believe it. I believe that's actually going on. Like, if you don't toe the line or follow what the established narrative is, you're going to get kicked off a cliff. And
yeah,
I'm curious who's pulling the strings behind all this.
So for Puerto Rico, that question, going back to that, I think it needs to be put to a vote. So if your country is in unrest, and like we go all Libya on them to get, or recently with Venezuela, we need to put it to a vote. Do you want to become a U.S. territory? Have the citizens vote, and whatever comes out, if they do, yes. If not, no. But we shouldn't militarily go in and take over a country for the purpose of keeping it, right?
You would think, but how many times in history has it happened? Look at the whole Roman Empire.
Well,
the entire Roman
it's
Empire
happened over and
like
over. Roman, just look at the British Empire.
No, they had their cake and they ate it too. It was great. The Spaniards had no problems with them, ever.
No, or the French, or the Portuguese,
or the French,
or Australia.
So I'm looking at ADP here while we're talking, and look at these pay raises. Look at that. Every year, 17%, 12%. Well, 5 wasn't great, but that was 2020. So they still gave you a pay raise during 2020. 14%, 18, 11, 10. I just like throwing numbers out there. It's like the premium prices video.
That is. But can they afford it?
They can.
60%.
That's a lot of their profit, though.
Yeah.
We like seeing people under 40% because that means they can still grow. But ADP's, they do payroll for everyone.
They're huge.
They know everything. We know all of your salaries. And we know all of your HR. We own all of your HR. We are your HR. They know everything. That's kind of why I like these guys. I want to add to them for that reason. Check one thing before we go on to the next crazy thing. So here's a question for you while I poke at these super exciting, wonderfully not boring at all numbers. Do you think we should bomb Iran? And what do you think that'll do to oil production? How quickly do you think they'll get it back up if it disrupts it? Like
comment, people, comment.
What do you think?
And like and subscribe and follow.
From what I have read, the people of Greenland are mostly in favor of the U.S. taking over. Really? I haven't read that. I've seen like snippets of it, but usually if I'm on MSN or Google, because those aren't liberal at all, they shut it down.
I have to admit, I haven't gone deep into the Greenland thing yet.
We could look. What do you think, Brian? What do you think we should do with Iran?
With Iran?
Yeah. Because I know you oppose Greenland. Matt thinks they're going to be a United States state. We're gonna have. What do you do with the stars and the flag?
Well, I'm still waiting for the 4 Canadian provinces to become U.S. states. They're getting closer and closer to seceding from Canada.
You know what I would like to see if that actually happens in Greenland. No, I'm on the fence. I don't know yet about Greenland, but let's just say we're going to offend the liberal crowd as much as possible here. And we're going to take the American flag and put just another star just randomly stitched on anywhere in the middle of the flag and just put a G there. Just like get all these nice little organized stars and then just go whack, slap it right on there. Do it with Canada too.
Yeah. If that's what the Greenland people want, then I'm all for it. As far as Iran's concerned, I have no problem with another Venezuela going in, taking the Ayatollah out, and
but
the problem with that is you have to stick around long enough to fix the infrastructure, make sure that the government is sound, and that they have everything that they need in place so that another dictator can't just rise into power, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's it all for? You're just destroying a country.
And creating a power vacuum.
Yeah, that's what we did with Iraq. I mean, we took out Saddam Hussein, who basically kept that region in check. Like the rest of the countries around them were pretty much controlled by them because they didn't want to suffer the wrath of Saddam Hussein, right?
So gas chamber you if you disagreed with him. It's pretty scary.
Right. So he basically kept all the tensions in that under control in that area. But when you take them out and you don't fix anything, you just steal their oil, you get decades of turmoil in that area and strife, and the people need better than that. I
Matt, I
think the
think your
Death Star
comic's great.
detonation was an inside job. I believe Palpatine had it blown up to justify going to Hoth.
Now, before we get into that, I want to say one last thing about Iran because that's a very good point. We're nerds and we like to talk about nerdy things here. Iran has a epic water shortage going on right now. So it's not just governmental. The people are protesting a lack of food and the fact that their capital has almost no water left. So if you bomb them and don't supply food and water, there's going to be even more death. The bombing's bad, the death is bad, the current government's bad. Like this whole situation is just like this is how do people become so evil? Like that's where I'm at. Like
Power
this is
and money
insane.
corrupts.
Well, it won't corrupt me because I'm good. I'm a good little angel. But how do you? I mean, you got to fix that problem too. And I don't know if you can. They're in a desert. But anyways, so mind over Matt. If you follow Star Wars canon, that makes sense. That actually makes sense because if you think about it, how many Death Stars were there? It's like the Lucasfilm figured out, hey, that's a really good thing that people watch. So they made like 6 or 7 Death Stars or something like that. And there was always another one.
They
What do
had
you
3.
think?
According to the old canon, they had 3. They had one that got blown up. They built the second one, but they had a third one that was in it's an area that's really hard to get to, but ended up being easy to get out of. I don't know.
Wasn't
So they
that
had
the-
one that they're building for testing that actually has its own book and storyline with it. So
Is that the one where like Han Solo, no offense, spoiler, where he dies? Like is that where it was like built
No.
into the planet? Or is that a different one?
no, they God, I can't remember how they destroyed it, but it was just a bunch of scientists on
Well,
this
Han
thing.
Solo fell into the core and he blew it up himself, right? And he was like
Not
looking
in-
at his son, like, I love you, son. Ah. Like that's
Not in
about
this
all I
one.
remember from that movie.
Oh, the sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Did we-
doesn't. I don't count the sequels. They don't exist in my mind.
So you don't
And
think
the-
like any of that exists? So you're talking the first 16 episodes, I mean 9, or how many were there?
The first 6.
First 6. Okay, so you don't mean the next. There was a
No.
lot.
7, 8, and 9. I think in my mind those are just like alternate universe Star Wars. It's not how it should have progressed. So
Speaking
the
of Death Star,
Star Killer base isn't. Star Killer was a person, not a base, but yeah, the Star Killer base doesn't really exist. That it was just a ploy for money for Disney.
have you seen their Star Wars? Like, has anybody here seen the Star Wars at the park? Like the whole new.
Yeah.
You've been there. Have you seen it? Is
Yeah.
it? Do they come around in costumes and actually act the
Oh,
part?
yeah.
And is it very
Yep.
realistic believing that you're
It is.
actually
It's-
in Star Wars?
It's very well done. They did a good job. It needs updated, but yeah, they've got like Darth Vader walking around with stormtroopers, and yeah, it's pretty good.
So I'm going to be like a kid in Candyland. It's like, hey, look, I fit in for once in my
Yeah.
whole life. I actually fit in. And then I find out they're all acting. Like
Now
the Truman
the,
Show.
The hotel did not succeed, but who's going to pay $6,000 for 3 nights?
I'm worried about that. We're supposed to go in September. And last time we were there, the food costs are, I'm kind of worried that maybe I'll just bring like a microwave and a stroller. It's like, oh, that's a cute, wait, is that a Samsung microwave?
You have to
Reheat
drive
stuff
because
at
I don't
the
think you
park.
can bring that on the plane. But yeah, prepare to spend at least $1,000 on just food.
Good Lord. That's also why they chose the Endor system to build the second Death Star. Something about that system makes it like the Bermuda Triangle or watching this channel Oh wait, he didn't say that. That's why Wilfred Brimley's character was stranded there in battle for Endor. What was the Ahsoka? Was it Ahsoka in the latest series that the super calculating, brilliant genius guy had to figure out how to get from one galaxy to the other? And like, what was that guy's name? Do you consider that canon?
Yeah, he's canon because he was part of George Lucas's version, right? Um, they brought him into the animated series. Um, Now he was in what's his name? Oh, Galaxy Edge is written to be the original trilogy. Yeah. Um, God, what the three books that came out after Return of the Jedi, Heir to the Empire, and the basic trilogy that wasn't written by George Lucas was written by another guy, and that's where he came from. And like Luke Skywalker had a wife in these books, and this is the one where Princess Leia and Han Solo get married, have kids, they have twins. That's kind of where they took the sequels, like the kids of Han and Leia, but it was just one kid. So,
How can you have one kid if there's two kids?
well, they had
He's
twins in
like
the books,
China, where they take out the other one.
Jace and Jaina. Yeah.
Little tiny
So in the
didn't
books,
exist.
Jace and Jaina were twins from Han Solo and Princess Leia. So they're pretty heavy into the Force because of Leia. And they were being trained by Luke Skywalker with the new Jedi Temple. And Jace ends up getting succumbed to the dark side. And then Jaina has to try to turn him back and ends up killing him in the final battle. Spoilers.
Yeah, we were talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn, the blue guy.
Yeah, Timothy
That's who it
Zahn.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, Timothy Zahn books.
So while we're talking, I've been looking at Procter and Gamble and ADP, and I gotta say, man, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Their numbers look great, and again, these pay raises, man, qualified. They're qualified dividends. You not pay as much taxes, and even these numbers. See, these are not great. I like see higher dividend coverage ratios and payout ratios, but ADP does payroll. If ADP stops existing, Google can't run payroll. Like half the country is not going to get paid, so they're probably going to exist. And then same thing with Procter and Gamble. Most people shave and use soap. Most people. If you're not one of them, what's wrong with you? What's your secret? How do you save that kind of money? No, seriously, use soap. I like what I'm seeing. But do we use that to capitalize on Chevron potentially benefiting from this whole Venezuela thing and Iran and all that?
Perhaps Iran, yeah.
We
Or do
did
we
this-
split it?
We did this with Intel. I mean, we knew that China circling Taiwan and they were serious. Look at what happened
Right.
here.
That was partly Taiwan and partly the tariffs.
I think tariffs are a big part. And the what was it, $9 billion they finally got paid. And then Nvidia decided, oh crap, we're in trouble if we actually do get hit in Taiwan. So they're like, build your chip facilities, please. I guess TSMC and Qualcomm are building stuff in Phoenix and another one in Pennsylvania. So they recognize the risk. So if you hold those stocks, you're not going to be too terribly damaged. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt, but it's not going to be catastrophic. So what would you do? I mean, I like Procter and Gamble's numbers. I like ADP's numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got Chevron. Where did Chevron go? Where is Chevron? Where are you, Chevron? All my companies are making money. Why are we doing that? We need to buy riskier crap.
Right
Chevron.
there, in the middle.
Oh yeah, right next to our risky company. Okay. See, they're up 12%. Procter and Gamble is not. What do you guys think? They had Jace and Jaina, and later they had Anakin. That's what they think.
And Mara Jade and Luke, I believe, had a child as well. That I think they called that one Ben.
Mara Jade. Who's Mara Jade? Sorry, guys. I
Mara Jade
offended a lot of people
was
just now.
Mara Jade was an assassin for the Palpatine, the Emperor. So she was kind of the murderous person that would go out and do his bidding. And she was tasked with going and taking out Luke. And in interacting with Luke, she got turned to his side, and they fell in love, and she became, kind of a Jedi with him.
I think that's a good story because that's how most love stories work. Like you date the woman who's trying to kill you, and then she still tries to do it after you're married.
It was a great story, and they should have taken those books and adapted those to the movies instead of the sequels. That would a much better one, but they wanted to kill off all the old characters and make it about women.
Let's throw gender wars into this. Now, I think there is some justification on that note for them killing off the old characters. You can't have like Han Solo, 100 like was it the guy in Mary Poppins who's still around? Bert.
Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke, yeah, like you can't have him being a Jedi. It's like, hold on, let me get my lightsaber.
Yeah, but you could kill him off in a better way, right? You could hand the torch off to the younger generation and be okay. Like Rey wouldn't have been a bad character if they didn't automatically make her. She was the Emperor's hand, yeah. If they didn't automatically make her just like super powerful in the Force. Like she grabbed the lightsaber and just automatically was more powerful than Luke. And they like totally treated Luke terribly in the sequels. Like if he would have just trained her properly, I don't think it would have been a problem for Star Wars fans. But because it's not necessarily a woman lead, because Leia and Mara Jade and there's others that were very powerful women in the Star Wars universe that could have had their own movies, but the way they handled it was not right as far as the Star Wars universe.
I will agree with
mind.
that about Leia. When they're getting chased by, I forget that huge Death Star ship or whatever it was, destroyer ship,
Yeah.
with the Emperor guy. Forget what his name was, but like her ship blows up and then she uses the Force to magically go back into the part of the ship that was still alive because I thought, wait a minute, I know this is a story where nothing is realistic and it's a fantasy world, but that's a little over the top.
Yeah.
I couldn't see that. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like there's another here. This shows that I got young kids. The cartoon movie Bolt, where like the whole thing is if the audience believes it because the dog believes it, or the dog believes the audience. Like the director's super intent on making sure the dog believes everything is true. And at the very end, the gerbil or hamster guy, he's watching the show, and they have a new Bolt. And the aliens show up. He's like, "What? Oh, that's fake!" And then he just tunes out because he didn't believe that the story. I kind of felt like that with Leia when she came back into the ship, where it was like, "Well, wait a minute. First of all, you got people like Luke Skywalker was heavily underrepresented. He was supposed to be like more powerful than Anakin, and yet the most cool thing you see him do is like spear a fish.
And yeah.
That's it? Really?
Gets the milk out of whatever that cow thing was.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got like
And Rey
Yoda-
beats him in a lightsaber battle. Who just learned how to use a lightsaber. It's like, what? Sure, he had a stick, but he's like one of the most powerful Force users ever known. So it's like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that part of it was boy, my screen blanks out. It turns off HDR when I scroll down. I can't scroll down on this article. I can't. I couldn't buy it after that. I think. And by the way, why are we looking at Al Jazeera Live? Israel continues deadly attacks as deal moves into phase 2. We've been tracking a stock owned by Israel called Zim International. And for the record, I think any human catastrophe is awful. I don't care what side you sit on. Death is death, and death is bad. I know you're supposed to go
But
somewhere
everybody
when you die,
dies.
but I think it's a sad story. And this is the other part about media that I hate is you'll see like this horrible travesty that happens, and then like a week later, it doesn't even exist.
Yep,
What's
move
going
on.
on in Ukraine? The war is still happening. Thousands of people are still dying every week, but we don't care.
We've moved on. It's Venezuela now.
We moved on. It's something else. Squirrel, look at this. I hate
Yep.
that about the media. Who
Tell
are
me
these
the whole
guys?
story. Don't just pick and choose.
Opposition supporters killed in overnight clashes. The world is crazy right now. I think, because we're wrapping up what is that's controversial, I think we need to look at the finances probably off camera a little bit more.
Yep. Because
But
people don't like us looking at finances.
yeah, I've learned that I get all excited about these nerdy numbers with math. I'm like, "Ooh, yay, math!" And everybody's like, "Oh God, don't look at the numbers, Tom." Math makes me happy. Actually, most of the time, because I run a small company again, math stresses me out because I'm looking at payroll and I'm looking at like net revenue. Payroll's like way up here, and never everyone's like way sometimes negative. So that stresses me out. So every once in a while, when the numbers work out, I get super excited and happy and nerdy and mathy, and everybody kind of tunes out. So I think Chevron is one I need to look at deeper, obviously. ADP and Procter& Gamble are still on my list. I don't like some of the numbers in Campbell's Soup that I'm seeing yet. Kimberly Clark, I like the numbers. The problem I have with them is you had $6.1 billion of debt from Kenvue, and it's not showing up anywhere. Like you don't see how did this actually affect them. And you look at their net revenue, how much money they're making from Kenvue, and you got to pile that into this.
So
Typically,
the question is, where'd that money go, or when is it actually going to hit the books? Are they hiding it until next quarter?
yeah, we won't see it for a few months, and they have to. Typically, when there's like a corporate acquisition or a major move like that, we looked at this with Chevron. That's why we bought Chevron when they did. They were getting taxed to death in California. Imagine that, and they decided to move. So they went to Texas. That cost a lot of money, but now you're starting to see those numbers show up positively on their balance sheet, and that's looking like now they look better, and the stock goes up. So we have a Luke was willing to die to turn his father from the dark side, but then he is willing to murder his only nephew because he senses darkness in him. That was yes, yes, it was written horribly.
Yeah. And Luke was supposed to be able to take the light and the dark side and take from both to be able to be a more centered Jedi. So he would understand that, okay, there's darkness in everyone. So
Okay, so
he would be,
who is light here? Is it Trump or Biden?
oh,
Come
God,
on,
I don't
Brian.
know.
You're always right. You're never wrong.
Who's
You gotta tell
light?
us.
Neither.
Neither. That was. I do agree with that. I think that was written really poorly. I see
Yep.
this with like video games too. But wasn't there earlier somebody had mentioned the Emperor's Hand? Wasn't there a video game about that? Like you could play as the assassin or something that would try to go take
As
out
Mara?
Luke. Am I
Probably
wrong?
Shadows of the Empire, maybe?
I don't know. I thought there was. Now I have kids, so I have no life, and I'm happy as you know it. Clap your hands. That's my social interaction lately. It really is. But I thought that there was something that came out that you could play and get that story as part of the game. And I'd rather participate. That's why I can't watch golf or football or anything. I have to play. And Brian does too. That's why he
Yeah,
broke his
probably.
leg,
Yep.
body.
I didn't break my leg. Tore my ACL, man.
That's pretty darn close. The payout ratio for these guys. Look at this. This is one of the reasons why I'm not real
92%.
interested in KMB yet. So 92. They're paying everything they can in dividends, and that's really sad because I like this company. Am I going to sell them? No, No, we are not. You need toilet paper. If you didn't have toilet paper, you'd be wiping your rear with your hand like the people in Japan do. Why do they do that? I don't know how they do that. Maybe they're getting toilet paper. Kimberly Clark, sell your stuff to Japan. There you go. Business idea. Who are you talking to, Mind Over Matter? He's talking to us. Just Jay Will. He's talking to us. You can talk to us like we're right here. It's live. This is actually live. We're really here. So, like, if I have a heart attack, you'll see it live on screen. And I promise I won't look at the small business finances because I probably will have a heart attack. And then you'll have to, like, call 911 or something. Don't do that. Don't call 911. They'll probably just answer, what's wrong with him this time?
I think Just Jay Will wants us to talk about finance and not Star Wars.
We're nerds. I'm sorry, dude. We have no social life, so we figure we try to proselytize ourselves out there and try to fit in with a group of people that have a 3-second interest. What was I thinking? Anyways.
So
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like that for Kimberly Clark.
right.
And we already have a cost base of $6,000 for Campbell Soup. Let me look at these guys for dividends and see what it says 5.8% yield. That could be a reflection of the drop in the stock price. Can they afford it? These guys actually can. So Campbell Soup looks a little bit better. If you go back earlier in the stream when we're talking about more nerdy stuff, you can see us talking more about Campbell Soup then. But that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't like them yet. Their money situation is not as good as it could be. Just Jay, I'm just nerding out. Sorry, no, man, don't apologize for being a nerd. Nerds run the world. Just look at Trump; he's a total nerd, not a jock at all.
He played
Actually,
football.
the nerd was Obama. That guy was a numbers guy. I didn't agree with a lot of what he did, but he knew how to
He was
sway
a lawyer,
crowd.
so yeah. And I could get sidetracked with Star Wars at any moment.
I have no life, so everything. Rumble. Rumble, do you think they've gotten any better?
Nope.
Look at that. It's
Well,
going
they're
up,
they're
though.
losing less money. I'll give you that.
where it's like a college, paying off your college debt. Where I'm less broke than I was before. Oh, these are awful numbers. Look at what happened 2024. They thought it was going to be negative 0.12 per share, but then it went to this. So when we talk about risky companies, this
very
is one
risky.
of them.
Don't throw your life savings into these people.
Watch, all the executives in Rumble just tuned in.
But Market
What'd he
Edge is
say?
long on them.
Call him. Pay him a visit. Well, please don't do that. We're tiny. So I don't know. Let's look at quarterly. Let's see how Rumble's doing here. Are they going to do okay? I'm listening double speed to catch up to live. Oh.
That makes
okay.
sense.
Okay, he's going to catch up as like, oh, they're talking about me.
So their current assets are going up.
Yeah, so are these, though.
Liabilities are,
What happened
but
here?
not as much. 51 to 65.
What is that? That's Q4. That's their end of year.
Ah,
The real test with these guys, I think, is going to be the total shares outstanding. And unlike Anali Capital, they're diluting, but it's like 15%. Now, if they
Right.
start getting into 50, 70, 60%, like it gets higher than that, then we got a problem. But they're not doing that. So here's what we are looking for now for these guys. Total revenue. Look how bad these are. They're reducing their operating expenses, and their total operating income has gone up by $5 million. And this is quarterly. If you look at it annually, they're pretty fresh. They're fresh. They're like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, fresh.
and keep in mind they do have that $750 million Tether deal that Tether put into their coffers to be able to do things like buy AI companies and build their network?
Did they though? Total operating income. Did they get it? Look at the first. Eesh, oof, eesh. Negative
Yes.
131 million. That ain't good. Net income. Bleeding like crazy. Amazon did this for 16 years. So I guess the real philosophical question you'd want to ask is, do you believe that Rumble, kind of like all their automotive companies out there that are making electric vehicles, will be able to sustain itself long enough to become profitable to actually become competition for YouTube?
That's the question. And that partly relies on viewership. So if they could keep getting their subscriber numbers up, people on their site, and they can start getting ad revenue into it, because they're trying to do it without all the YouTube ad revenue, because they do have controversial people on their site.
You think?
Then I think they're going to succeed. And let's also remember that they're not just a platform. They also are data centers and an AI company.
If
So
they start saying
there's-
stuff like, we're going to mine Bitcoin, I'm out.
No, they're using Tether as an in-app currency. So you could use Tether and Bitcoin and USD to, like, if, say, Mind Over Matter, Just Jay wanted to give us a little donation during our stream, they could do that with their Tether wallet and just send it to us in our Tether wallet, and it'll come up and we could have a neat little animation that says, hey, thank you for your donation. So they're working on the in-app currency instead of using just dollars and bits or whatever, like the other apps use, like, YouTube and, God, why can't I think of the Amazon one?
I don't know. I don't have a social life, so you're on your own, man.
So that's the stuff that
happy
they're
and you
working
know it,
towards.
clap your hands. Go and get that stuck in your head.
Yeah.
I think,
And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for them to build those systems to give their viewers and creators a better platform to be able to reach out to the rest of the world in a free speech environment.
I think they're even more risky now than they used to be, because you don't see that. So here, I agree with you about the free speech. I also agree in the sense of creators. I think you're going to have more opportunities for people like us who make negative thousands of dollars every month putting ourselves out there. That's awesome, by the way. It's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling every month. But no, I think it's good for that. But one thing I'm noticing here is that $750 million that you talked about, it's not showing up.
Right.
They haven't reported
And
it
I've
yet.
looked for it too, and I can't find it.
It's nowhere. Do you think they pay a dividend, Tom? No.
No.
Net
They're
profit
just trying to keep the
margin.
lights on.
Negative.
Well, they'll pay a dividend.
See, that's like my company. It's just like that. It's negative 275%. Oh, save me. No, that's probably. I don't think I'm going to buy them this month. I want to see that money. I want to see them come up with the. I want to see where that $750 million goes. Look at the short interest ratio.
Right.
You put a short call, it's going to take you 11 days to get that money back on average, if you get it back, if it doesn't time out or they don't call it. Come on, Rumble. You guys got this. Don't buy anything fancy.
Like I said, they just got to beat that 5 years of pain to hopefully start turning a profit. Will they succeed? I don't know.
So I'm going to get a little bit controversial with crypto, because somebody here is mentioning, I heard about the wallet, don't understand anything about cryptocurrency, but it sounds very interesting. One of the people that started me in the whole thought process of Brian and I about why we should start this channel makes money on YouTube. He lives in our area. He worked with my wife before he stopped to do YouTube full time, and he talks nothing but crypto. In fact, I remember talking to him on a yacht ride. We did a boat ride to, or pontoon or whatever. It was a big boat. We did a boat ride from around Lake Michigan, and he says, "Well, Tom, you talk about diversification. I am diversified." Really? What do you have? He goes, "Well, I've got this crypto and this crypto and this crypto," and there was no stocks in there. It was all crypto. I'm like, dude, that's not diversifying. That's like saying I'm diversifying by buying all the oil companies. Like, well, you might as well just buy an index fund. What's the point? And he got so mad at me, thinking like the crypto's not going to be around. And I said, I'm not going to say his name. I said, listen, I used to do bank compliance audits for IT, and back in the day, you had modems in the servers of all these banks. So this is going to date me a bit. So mid 2000s, so 20 years ago, and at the end of the day, they had to reconcile their books. So if you were at a bank, you had to say this: so many people put money in, this so many people took money out. And the banks would have a modem in their servers that would make a call, establish a secured encrypted call to the server, the home base, and it would send an RSA key in an encryption algorithm to the other one that already had the handshake at the other end. So that said, Brian, you just lost your video, so you might be going somewhere.
No, I just paused it for a second.
Okay. So he has to adjust. His leg is killing him probably. But the at the end of the day, the server would accept all these connections. The algorithm that was used to encrypt that data as it went from A to B is what started crypto. Because all the banks across the world did this, and they used that encryption algorithm to create basically the RSA and AES encryptions and all the stuff that Bitcoin currently uses. Is different now, but back then they used that to generate the tokens to create the cryptocurrency. And like, yes, I know quantum computing and all of that can like hack the stuff. Here's the main problem I have with it. Not the fact that I don't think that it could be a good medium of exchange, because I think that there could be something for it. But banks have been doing encryption for years. If you look at your bank card, there's a little chip in there. That's the same thing. The other thing you're running into is that no sovereign government, now the United States is changing this. There's a few countries that are changing this. It's not regulated. So what that means is that all of that regulation, I used to be the compliance guy, I used to be the IT guy, and I used to make sure all of the stuff met compliance and security features that were required at the time to make sure that they didn't get their data hacked. That's all audited. There has to be a transaction chain. Well, Bitcoin's audited, not legally. So, in other words, if you have somebody who's doing like child trafficking or like drugs or something like that, it is a way for these illicit people to basically exchange value without being tracked. And if you lose it, let's say your computer gets hacked or something happens to like your Bitcoin wallet or whatever it is, all of a sudden that money is gone permanently. There's no insurance, there's no tracking. And what government would use think about it this way: a government that needs currency to operate, even Iran, any one of these, don't buy Iran currency right now, but they need to have some sort of way of tracking how they spend their resources and how like that stuff gets, I don't know, monetized across the country. And I'm simplifying this a lot. We've had quite a few discussions about crypto over many discussions. But if they're not able to track that or control it, they're not able to issue their own military payments. So what foreign government or even sovereign entity would allow an untracked, unregulated entity to come in there and take over its own currency? There aren't any. And this is kind of why you've seen Bitcoin become very violent in the past few months, is that when the federal law went into place where now all of a sudden you have to report what's going on within Bitcoin, which means it's now regulated, which means now it could be considered a viable asset in the defense of people who like crypto. All the people who were using it for illicit activity all of a sudden are getting called to notice. Now, is this going to, it's kind of like the whole gun discussion. Is it like you put more regulation, is that going to stop gun violence? No, it's not going to stop people from doing it. It's not going to stop people from making the money or I don't know, like doing the illegal activities and not reporting them to the IRS. So there's a lot of that too. But I think that the biggest problem I have with crypto, it's the same problem I have with gold. It's the same problem you see in Benjamin Graham's book, Intelligent Investor, and Warren Buffett has said this too. It doesn't do anything. Sure, it can go up, but there's no product and there's no service there. And the other problem I have with it is that it costs money to operate. Think about all these data centers burning all this electricity, spending all this money to program operations. Now, yes, I have Cardano coin. That it costs money. You got to pay the people developing this. You have to pay to even mine the coin. Now, almost all the Bitcoin is all mined up now, but you have to do. There's an overhead to that, and there's no product to offset that aside from the fact that people are putting money into it. So instead of buying crypto, what I would buy is maybe a utility company. Because at least, people need electricity, and you got these huge data center crypto people buying up, like corporations buying up data centers and power plants just so they can mine the coin. Like, what's going to happen in 5 years with that? So I think long term, maybe 10, 15 years, you could probably see some use cases for it. But right now, I think my most risky asset, and for me personally, would probably be like Rio or Rumble stock, because at least I know what the product is. At least I understand it. Do I think that anybody that jumped into it and made $1 bazillion on it is falling into a scam? It's like, well, not necessarily. Congratulations, you made money. But for every one person that made money, there are 10,000 people that didn't, and you don't see that. The only thing you see are the people that just, oh, I bought this coin and it went up 50,000%. And like, that's not how you make money in the markets. That's just not how you do it. As Brian and I have both demonstrated, you don't make money that way. You make money with the small gains. You make money like this, long term, because and trust me, the moment you get over $400,000 of taxable income, you are going to bend over hard at the end of the year. So the fact that they are now regulating crypto and you have to report on it is going to be a drag on that asset that A, doesn't have a use case yet, an easy use case. You can't just go to the gas station and be like, there you go, just paid you in Bitcoin. When you can do that, maybe I can see it. It'll trade like a commodity then. But you can't do that right now. So now it's being regulated, and now it has that energy infrastructure problems because you got regulation on that outputs, which Trump is killing a lot. It might be good for Bitcoin. And then you've got also on top of that, you've got this cost center to develop this thing that has nothing there yet. So that's my tirade. I'm sorry, Brian, but I think that as far as risk is concerned, if you want to be risky, all for it. Not for me. Not for me. Like I said, I have some Cardano just to keep an eye on things. This is for me. This I can rely on, and this for the most part, I can pretty much assure that it's going to happen. If you're going to make money, you have to look at things long term, 10 years, 5 years, not tomorrow. You don't go to college and expect to get a degree in like 3 weeks. You go to college and you expect to go for 4 to 6 years. Make sure you're going to college for a actual position that pays something. Don't go for 5 years for basket weaving. You're going to get scammed. But the point here is that make sure, unless you're sitting on millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, that whatever you're investing in is treated like a loan to that business. You treat it like a loan, and that they have to pay you back, and make sure that they're paying you back with profits so that they get taken care of too, to make sure that your investment's still going to go there. This, in summary, is why I don't like crypto right now. You're giving them a loan, and they have no way to pay you back. Not easily. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
All right, I have so many interjections, but my one interjection that I would like to make is, as far as the government is concerned, keep in mind that it does cost more to manufacture the currency than what the currency is worth. It costs more than 5 cents to make a nickel. So we are losing money on the currency that we have anyway.
And we're getting a coin shipped from China.
China, not Denver.
They make them in China.
China.
I guess they don't make them anymore, but isn't that crazy?
Oh, so what are your other interjections? Come on, Brian. Fact check
That's it.
time.
I'm more pro cryptocurrency than you are. I
Go
do
for it.
recognize the risks associated with it.
But
And there are taxes if you do transfer your currency and convert it to US dollar. So yeah, I don't know that there's a lot to it. It is an investment. I
I'm
see
seeing all
it.
these comments now. I talked about crypto.
I see it too. I see it more in tune with gold.
Yeah, like a commodity. I could. So, what do you
Yeah.
think? Can Bitcoin go above 100? Was it a million? Is that a million or $100? That's a million.
Is that a
No,
million? I thought it was 100,000.
no, I don't think they'll go over a million before March.
Oh,
A
that
hundred
is a
thousand,
million.
maybe.
I thought it was 100,000.
No, it's a million. Let me make sure I got the zeros. One, two, three, four. I can count five. I'm like count five, six, seven. Yeah, that's 10 million or a million. No, I don't think they could. I think the big thing for Bitcoin and any crypto is you can't just like there. This isn't the commodity. This is an ETF. So this just got listed this year, and this
That
is
was
an
a big
ETF for
step for
crypto.
Bitcoin too, getting to be able to be ETF'd.
Even look at this. Even Charles Schwab is like, just be careful. Go outside with your coat on, or you'll catch a cold. There's some guy watching at Schwab going, "Hey, I wrote that, you jerk."
That's car.
The smart investors, yeah.
At least that has a use for armor
This
and
is the
weapons.
way. Yeah, I don't know. I if so here's the other problem I have is sure if you want to take a risk personally, but this portfolio is supposed to show people how to make money reliably. And if I start going off and start talking to people about you can make 10,000% tomorrow, that's antithesis to what we're talking about. And quite frankly, anytime that I've invested in anything risky, I've almost lost money. I don't advocate for that if you have less than like $1 million of net worth. And I
Right.
just excluded the top, or I'm sorry, the bottom 80% of the population.
And you're using the profits from that as your gambling source, not the principal.
Yeah, so unless you're in the top 1 out of 5 people, I wouldn't do it.
Yep.
Because
Otherwise,
it's,
you can go to the casino and gamble just as well. You know, the odds are the same.
yeah, so somebody's like, are you going to do YouTube full time? Saying, no, I got customers, I got a business, I got employees, I have to take care of them, and I'm going to take care of my customers, and hopefully this does well over 7 years. But that's the same thing here. If you take, so let's do a theory craft here. Let's say the investment income is what is this, 312? So I'll round it down to 300. Assuming market averages doubling every 5 to 7 years, I'm going to use seven. So if you're 30 years old and you double it 3 times over the course of not the total value. So you go from 300 to 600 to 1200 to 2400 over the course of 12 or 21 years. So it doubles 3 times. So if you're 30, by the time you're 51, which is almost Brian's ripe old age.
I'm 52.
Yeah. So you're going to be making $2,100 roughly a month qualified dividends if you don't touch this at all, if you do nothing. I could get fired from my job. Don't fire me, please. You could be you could be working at McDonald's for apparently more money than help desk people make now. But you could be doing this and it will just grow for you. There's no guarantee that risky assets are going to be able to do that. And you can see what happens to businesses that push the envelope too far. Look at I'm going to pick on AT&T. Sorry, AT&T. I like AT&T. We have their stock. Let's see here. Let's do 1 year so you can see what I'm talking about. AT&T tried to branch off and compete with Charter, Comcast. They bought Warner Brothers. They did all that. If you kind of go back to the dot-com bubble, you can see the bubble. You can see the other bubble here. So there's a housing bubble and the dot-com. Look at the dot-com bubble. That's crazy. But look at their dividend checks. So you look at this is per share. So if you have one share, you're going to get paid 19 cents every quarter. That's what that means. So if you go 19 cents, 24 cents, and this is years, so this is 2006, and I've had AT&T stocks since like 2004. So 27 cents, 31 cents, 32 cents. It keeps going up, keeps going up. Sounds great. Oh, this is amazing. And then it goes from 39 cents here. Oh, they cut it. So they spun off their dividend, 28 cents, 28 cents. So they went from a 9% yield at the time, and I got to go back down to the 5-year chart here, to a much more reasonable 4.5%, 5%. We talked to the guy, and there's a video out there. We talked to the guy, actually explained his reasoning behind that. I thought it was a pretty good reasoning. But you can't, and this goes into any company like JAPQ, any company like even SCHD, they're doing a reconstitution on theirs, which I think is needed, where they promise a higher than 5% yield. There's risk there, and you have to understand why there's risk there before you buy those companies. Because if you were getting your 40 cents a share or whatever, now you got a pay cut. And they're not the only ones that have done that. 3M had the same problem. So this is why the finances matter, is that if you go in here and you look at their financial statements and it looks like they can't afford things, your dividend is not safe. So you have to pay attention to that. And when you're talking about like crypto and the risky assets that are out there, and you see those numbers, like Rumble stock's a good example of that. We like Rumble stock, but I would consider them a heavy risk. You're talking about a business that's not making money. If you have negative money, which is like most people, if you got negative money, how are you going to pay bills that keep going up?
Right.
You're not.
But there's an antithesis to that too, because look at Tesla. Tesla didn't make money for years as well until the Model 3 came out.
Amazon too.
Yeah. So there is a case study out there for companies who don't make money for the first 5 years of their life, 9 years of their life. So it could still happen for Rumble. And we're big on it because we're big on the platform, the technology, and the ideology behind it.
I would recommend, and this is just so everybody knows, look at Tesla. Rumble could be this, could be. But keep in mind, when we buy Rumble stock, we're buying it with our dividend checks. We're not buying it with principal investment. We're buying it with money that's already working for us, that we don't have to work for again. If you're going to do something like that, do it with toilet paper money. Do it with something that you know is reliable first, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. You might have a medical problem. You might have a job issue. You might be like Brian and have to get on surgery, which hopefully you weren't thinking that your job was at risk when you had your surgery, because it wasn't. But like most people, when they go through those episodes, if they work for corporate America's like, you're done. We don't care about you. You're just a number. We'll replace you with the next person standing in line, and now all of a sudden you don't have an income. You don't have a job. So how are you going to get money to pay? And like, oh crap, now I need to sell Rumble stock, as an example, to get money to pay my bills. Well, are you going to sell any of your stocks if you already know that your toilet paper money stocks are making $300 a month? No, you could pay your car payment with that, I think. Can you still do that?
Close.
Can I buy a Honda Civic? What's my car payment for a Honda Civic?
I think it was $380.
I don't really like the Civic, but
it's not bad.
Oh, they actually show the price now. What's up with that? They used to just show the payment. This is how broke you will be over 7 years. I think I read somewhere that the average car payment was like $750 a month. It's crazy.
I know, right? That's outrageous.
So that's my point here, is that I think that when you're looking at this stuff, you have to. No, it doesn't say it. That's too bad. I was trying to find it just so I could.
Yeah, you got to click on it and go to build.
Build. They have 150 horsepower now.
Then go to the summary at the top there, I think. It's not telling you anymore.
It's not telling me. They don't want to tell me. They know. They know we're looking.
You'll have to go to the leases, I guess. and lease it.
All right, let's do that. And then we can wrap up here. So Honda Civic lease. But my point is that if you don't have money, I don't know. There we go. I'm in Grand Rapids.
Let's do Fox or Sarah Honda.
Oh, that's cheap. Wow,
Yep.
the auto market really is on fire. I watched a couple videos about that where they talked about like the auction lots are full. And by the way, Carvana stock, if you own it, look out. You in trouble. No, you got $200 a month. It's not bad. I drive old cars. Yes, it's a Porsche, but it's an old car. I don't know. I wouldn't sell my toilet paper stock in the event that I lost a job and I needed to have that money. So if you're going to buy risky investments, my point, and hopefully Brian agrees to some degree, make sure that you do it with money that's working for you, not money that you owe. Because that could be used to keep your car payment going so you can get to the next job, and assuming AI doesn't replace that job, in the event that you need that money. So, do we care about overpriced or overvalued stocks? How do you estimate growth for the overpriced stocks? Oh my gosh.
You got 3 hours?
Remember that thing where Brian said that I used a lot of words? I just used a lot of words. I need to use a lot more for that. I can summarize it quickly, I think. Okay, so let's look at something called book value of a stock. There's a couple things you need to pay attention to. So book value per share, here's your nice little AI calculation. Their total assets minus their liabilities and their preferred stock divided by the number of shares outstanding. So this is basically how much they're worth if they stopped today. And the reason why we bought Intel stock was because they were trading under their book value. So if they stopped everything and they sold everything off, we would actually gain money, not lose it. When you're talking about overpriced stocks, there's book value is a good thing to pay attention to. The other thing you need to pay attention to is demographics. You need to look at like how much the business operations actually perform. We pay attention to this because it's an important metric to know what their operations actually are, because hype and investor sentiment and greed really inflate this number here. See this enterprise value, this 4.49 trillion? This is NVIDIA stock. Do we think that NVIDIA is worth what everybody else thinks they're worth? You have to look at who they're selling their products to. You have to look at their book value, and you have to look at what they're actually doing with that money. And if you go into, and I'm trying to be super quick, I apologize, but if you go into their operating income, this number is huge. Okay? That's amazing. Their total revenue, that's huge. They've done very well. Congratulations, NVIDIA. However, if you look at what their business size is compared to the market cap, there's a very big discrepancy there. You need to look at the peers, how they're doing compared to their peers. You need to look at their average sales that they're doing compared to their peers, and look at something like another good example would be Tesla. What that overall sales value to market cap is compared to all of that. So if to explain this very quickly, demographics matter. It's hard to predict a business that grew 9,000% in 3 years to know what they're going to do with all of that money. We just talked about Rumble making $750 million from a deal they had, but it doesn't actually show up yet in their earnings report. So you don't know what they're going to do. NVIDIA's making billions of dollars. They just gave Intel billions of dollars. They have to do something with the equity that investors are giving to them, and that has to translate to a product or service that translates to value. And if you're not seeing that, to me, that's a red flag. That's a, hey, stay away. Because this company, if you go back 5 years and you look at the numbers, the trajectory is amazing. If you held this, if you bought this stock back then, you did amazing. And congratulations. I think that's great. But that's not common. That's not normal. Very few people who actually buy a stock at that time are going to make that kind of money right away. And I mean, look at the number here: 4 billion, 10 billion, 4 billion, boom, 30 billion, 73 billion. That's investor greed. That's not the underlying business. You're looking for outliers. So to summarize it up, you're looking for outliers based on the fundamentals. So you want to check their net assets, their book value, their trailing price to earnings ratio, all the boring things that nobody else cares about. We have to look at that. You also have to look at their earnings report to see what they're doing with that money. And I tend to steer away from companies that just can't explain it well. And I hope that explains it, because that's as far as, I mean, I can go deeper, but probably shouldn't. What do you think, Brian?
I agree.
What? That's it?
My big question with NVIDIA is, okay, you bought it then, you made your money, but if you bought it now, do you really think it's going to go up to an $8 trillion company, right? That's how you're going to have to double your money. If you do, then hey, go for it. But that just seems just as risky as buying Rumble, in my mind.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Look at Tesla's market cap, $1.46 trillion. Let's look at Ford. Do I think Ford's a good buy? I haven't even looked at Ford. I'm just I'm picking on them. Do we think that Tesla, now yes, they've got other things they do. Do we think they're worth more than almost 10 Fords? I don't think so. I mean, it's not, that's what I'm talking about. Demographics matter. It's a lot harder for a business that's, like Brian said, that's valued at trillions of dollars to get to $8 trillion than it is a company that's worth like Rumble. Look how small these guys are. This is where the crazy gains come in. When you look at Rumble stock here, $1.7 billion. You put a negative there, that's my company. But, you know, they're $1.7 billion enterprise value. It's a lot easier for Rumble to go to match what YouTube's market valuation, which is about $70 billion, than it is for like NVIDIA to go from 4 trillion to 8 trillion. It's like AT&T. AT&T is a telecom giant. They're huge. How do you move the Titanic like that and double in size if your demographic audience is already captivated? Like there's market saturation. How do you grow? This is why you'll probably see NVIDIA. I would suspect if you own them, you're going to do just fine because they're probably going to do a lot of acquisitions. They're probably going to branch off and diversify where they get their product from, because that's their biggest risk right now. And you're probably going to start seeing those dividend checks that they started paying to grow, because they have to do something with that money. If the money's just sitting in their bank account doing nothing, it's losing value just because of what the Fed does. So I think that you're on the right track, but this is how we look at this stuff. And unfortunately, it does make it so that people don't find us as exciting as others, because the stocks that we buy are, you know, we like our toilet paper.
Tesla's exciting, and I think if Tesla comes out with this solid state battery first that works, that gives you 1,000 miles of range, I think their stock could explode again.
China has a vehicle that did that. What was it called? Let's see, China Electric.
But, yeah, they need some sort of innovation to continue to go.
What was the name of that? BYD?
Yeah, BYD.
Yeah, they were the ones that did. Yeah, okay.
And they have just surpassed Tesla as the global electric vehicle maker. They make more and sell more than Tesla at this point.
There's another point I want to get to people who are overvalued. If I'm going to put myself out there and the money that I'm throwing into this thing, I want to make sure that I self-check, because I don't want to think that I'm some kind of Michael Burry guy and I'm amazing with everything, because the moment you start thinking that stuff, you make mistakes. And if I'm going to show people like, hey, make sure you do your financial advisor fact check us that I'm being defensive in my own right, because there are people who depend on this income at my company and even my family. So I use this to help fund some of the benefits for my business personally. So I need to make sure that I'm buying companies that are reliable net income. Because like I said, we have a lot of nonprofit and a lot of local government customers, and they can't pay what like the private sector pays. So I'm trying to take care of them and my staff with this money. So I'm not going to go out and buy a Lamborghini and say, I'm going to turn around and sell this for $3 million. And like, no, it's a depreciating asset. I'm not going to make money on that. I'm going to lose money. So have you thought about looking into IPO stocks and buy before any hype? Yes, those are called special acquisition companies. I
Yep.
think that's a good topic for next time we stream.
I think so too, because there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just cut and dry, but you can make money off from IPOs, but there's a couple different ways. You either have to get in early to be one of the early special acquisitions to be able to purchase it at that price. Because if you're going on like on one of the apps, like Robinhood or something, and you go through their IPO, you're not getting the special price. What you're getting is the IPO price at launch, which is more. And so you're going to pay more, and it does go up and generally drops even more shortly after. So people make their money, there's a great sell-off, then you're stuck at the end if you're not quick enough to be one of the ones to get at the top. So the way I see IPOs are long-term goals. If I am going to buy an IPO stock, I plan on keeping that for a really long time because it's going to take a while for them to, because most IPOs, those companies aren't really making a lot of money. That's hence they're going public. So it's going to take a long time for them to actually start to turn that profit to where their stock is going to go up.
I would like to add to that too, that remember why they went after Trump for overvaluing his real estate? IPOs are like that too. They like to
Yep.
say that toilet's really worth $3,000.
And honestly, they're just guessing at the value of the company at IPO. So
It's an educated guess. They do have people
it's an
come in
educated
and
guess. Yeah. So
they
they take
gotta,
all the profits, and that could all be skewed. All the pre-profit stuff when they're private, that could all be skewed to favor the company to get a favorable IPO price.
wait, you're saying the stock market is greedy? What?
Yeah. Yeah. But you can make money on IPOs. People do.
Here's a Reddit post about that Chinese EV here. Is that it? That's kind of cool looking. Of course, they got to put all the neon and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, the shiny.
That looks like a Lincoln. No, hang on. Somewhat misleading headline. It applies a BEV range. Yeah, I think so. Mind over Matt said you can drive a Ford in Alaska, but a Tesla has a hard time with the temperatures in winter. This is true. However, the solid state battery tech that's coming out, which I think BMW and Ford both are going to be putting in their cars. I think they're saying 2028, 2030, somewhere in that range. Doesn't get affected by that as much, and they have a 30% higher energy density. So I think that problem's getting fixed. The degradation of batteries also, I found out that they coat the contact points in silicon and it doesn't degrade. So this problem where you have reduced range every year, that also is going to go down. So imagine anybody who bought an EV today. Imagine like what the value of that car is going to be when all these other cars come out that don't have battery degradation the same way.
Or they stop the corrosion, the battery corrosion.
Yeah, you're gonna $50. I give you $50, $5. It's gonna be an auction. Nobody's gonna want those cars. So when you go back to the overvalued stock question, I mean there you go. They've got. I think it's a brilliant idea, brilliant design, cool. I'd like less repair. All the automotive ASE certified technicians out there probably don't agree with that. They think it's horrible because that's their job. Like AI is replacing a lot of programmer jobs right now.
Yeah.
But I also think that like it's just like crypto. There's a big risk there right now, and if you're gonna foundationally build something that's reliable, that's not how you do it. So avoid those companies, at least for now. I think with everything we've talked about and my tirades, I think we're going for the ones that I like, and if anybody disagrees with this, Procter and Gamble look pretty good. I think ADP looks pretty good. And I think Chevron, where'd you go, Chevron?
It was
There it
just
is
above
again.
ADP there.
Yes, I forgot they dropped a lot. So it's like they used to be up here somewhere. So
Yeah.
where'd they go? I think Chevron looks pretty good too. I want to buy more because the Kimberly Clark they're on sale right now. I want to buy
Right.
more of these guys, but I'm not seeing that Kenvue acquisition debt yet. So I think we need to wait just a little bit longer on them. Oh, graphene batteries, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, I think that's right. Does anybody else, before we tune out for a week or so, Brian will be back Monday, hopefully, unless he's like medicated to death. Does anybody have any other questions for us before we go? I'll give it, I don't know what the delay is. Let me make sure I know what that is.
My goal for streaming, I want to be able to stand at my desk to be able to do that. But if I stand for an hour, it gets quite painful right now.
All right, I'll wait till I start looking at the phone. I should play like Jeopardy music or something.
You'll probably get a strike for that. It's copyrighted music, isn't it?
Even the first 5 seconds. You can't. I got this really cool Roadcaster set up. I don't have.
That's it.
Since AI is using too much energy in clean water, wouldn't energy and water companies earn high net income? That's exactly what I said earlier. Utility
Yep.
companies. And we own American States and Water. We want to buy another one. We looked in like DTE and Consumers Energy and all the other ones. They didn't look so good. Maybe they will now. Yeah, that's
Enbridge
where I
is
would
looking
go.
better.
I think we said this about the automotive industry too. It's like instead of buying Tesla, maybe buy like Gentex or something that supplies to all of them. So their customer base is wider, so you're not hedging yourself on the bets of one company. Now, granted, no risk, no reward, but yeah, thank you. Hope we recover too. We're getting older, so maybe we won't.
We
Maybe
will.
we'll be like Han Solo.
Nope.
Remember us. I love you. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Watching myself talk on a stream is really weird. I look like that. I sound like that. No, I think that's it. We'll probably be back. Brian, you're streaming Monday. And
Monday.
then I probably can't next Friday. But I probably can on the 30th, because then I got to do month end and everything. I got customer stuff to do all week next week. And I'm on the road finally, thank God, the following week, because I got to do year end too. But I think I'll probably be back probably on the 30th. So you see Brian 2 or 3 times, somewhere between now and then you'll see us again. And we'll actually make a stock purchase at that point. So we'll build on this.
And
We'll get
talk
another
about fake meat.
$3. What about fake meat? Oh God. I was playing City Skylines 2 a while back, and there was one of the commercial buildings said like almost meat. Wait, what?
Kind of like meat.
ALL most meat. Like, oh, that's kind of funny. You'll have to do a stream as Force Ghost. You know, we might actually get views if we did that. It's like, wait, they're dead. How are they on YouTube?
That'd take up some. I don't know how to do that. We'd have to hire somebody to make the Force Ghost graphic or whatever.
YouTube would censor us saying Christians say that ghosts aren't real. We get banned.
Get a copyright strike.
No, wait, we're real. Come back. All right,
We're
everybody.
using AI.
Thank you for watching. If you're just tuning in, scroll back. We've got a lot of Tom using a whole lot of words and Brian shaking his head like that. Yep, just like that. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching, and we will see you then.
I'll see you Monday.
Happy investing.